welcome to Tales in the Dark. I know many of you enjoy relaxing with these videos, so I recommend turning down the volume until my voice is barely audible. It'll make the experience even more soothing. Before you close your eyes, let me know in the comments where you're listening from. Leave a like and subscribe to the channel. Thank you and enjoy listening. Story 1. In the hush of a rainy night, I found myself nestled in my study, the soft pitter-patter of rain creating a soothing symphony of its own. Suddenly, a gentle, otherworldly melody began to weave its way through the stillness. Its notes, fragile and unknown, carried a blend of wistfulness and unease that tugged at my senses. It was as though the music emerged from the shadows, beckoning me to unravel long-concealed secrets. The ancient grandfather clock in the corner marked the passage of time with a steady beat, its pendulum swaying in perfect harmony with the enigmatic tune. The warm amber light of my reading lamp enveloped me in a cozy circle, while the rest of the room remained cloaked in comforting darkness. I closed my eyes, allowing the ethereal melody to envelop my consciousness completely. With each passing moment, the music shifted and morphed, like a stream meandering over smooth stones. At times, it felt as if the sound originated right behind me, only to shift to the hallway beyond my study door. It carried echoes of something half forgotten, akin to a dream struggling to surface from the depths of memory. The rain continued its gentle drumming on the windows, adding a natural rhythm to the mysterious serenade. Unconsciously, I swayed in my leather armchair, my fingers lightly tapping against the wooden armrest in sync with the unfamiliar cadence. The melody held a peculiar quality, as if it emanated from instruments existing in the realm between dreams and reality. A subtle shift in the atmosphere drew my gaze to the old mirror above the fireplace. Through half-closed lids, I noticed the glass shimmering, as if disturbed by a gentle breeze on a tranquil pond. The reflection it cast showed a slightly altered version of the room. Shadows moved with a life of their own, and the light pulsed in time with the music. As the grandfather clock chimed midnight, each strike melded seamlessly with the mysterious melody, creating harmonies that defied logic. I watched as the pendulum swing slowed, while the clock's hands continued their steady march forward. Time itself felt fluid, less defined in the moment. With the night deepening, subtle changes unfolded in my familiar study. Books on shelves leaned towards the source of the music, their pages rustling in a silent dance. Shadows in the corners seemed to breathe, expanding and contracting in rhythm with the melodic enchantment. Yet instead of fear, a profound sense of tranquility settled over me. I delved deeper into a state of serene contemplation, discerning intricate patterns within the melody. Fragments of the tune evoked memories of childhood lullabies intertwined with unfamiliar sounds. Each note carried a story, whether belonging to me or another remained a mystery. The music whispered of forgotten moments, of paths untaken, of doors left unopened. The warm glow of the reading lamp took on a new essence, its light flowing like liquid honey. Within its radiance, vague shapes danced before my eyes, a play of light and shadow that blurred the line between reality and imagination. The boundary between the tangible and the intangible faded, as I felt suspended in a sea of harmonious sound. The melody became omnipresent yet elusive, a natural essence akin to breathing, yet shrouded in enigma like the night sky. I pondered if I had always been here, listening to this ethereal music, and everything else had been a fleeting dream. The rain's rhythm shifted subtly, falling in perfect harmony with the mysterious tune, creating a symphony that transcended mere sound. As the night progressed, I realized that some mysteries are best left unsolved, some questions unanswered. The melody continued its gentle weave through the darkness, a constant companion that neither waned nor intensified. It simply lingered, akin to the space between heartbeats or the pause between thoughts. With the arrival of morning, the music seamlessly melded with the natural sounds of dawn. The rain had ceased, leaving behind a crisp, invigorating scent that wafted through my study. The grandfather clock ticked on, the mirror reflected reality as it should, and the books stood in perfect order on their shelves. Yet a subtle shift had transpired, not in the room, but within me. In the quiet interludes between day and night, when the world holds its breath, faint echoes of that mysterious melody occasionally brush against my senses. Like a half-remembered dream, it flits at the periphery of my awareness, a reminder that there are melodies existing in the spaces between reality and imagination, waiting for a willing ear to listen. Story 2. As the chill of dawn kissed my skin, I stirred from slumber to find my window veiled in a cloak of mist. With a gentle swipe, I revealed a mysterious sight, a delicate drawing etched upon the glass. A lone figure stood amidst a hazy landscape, its features mirroring my own in an eerie dance of similarity. The scent of aged charcoal lingered in the air, weaving a tapestry of nostalgia and intrigue around me. Clad in my night garb, I gazed at the artwork, bathed in the soft glow of winter's early light filtering through the fogged pane, casting ethereal shadows that danced across my room. The wooden floor murmured beneath my weight, its familiar creaks carrying a whisper of the unknown. Silence cloaked the world beyond, thick and all-encompassing like a velvet shroud. Tracing the figure's outline with trembling fingers, I marveled at the precision of the lines, too deliberate to be mere happenstance. In the backdrop, skeletal trees stretched towards a cloudy sky, their branches weaving intricate patterns that seemed to shift in my peripheral vision. Each passing moment unraveled new details within the sketch. My doppelganger stood before an ancient Victorian mirror, its ornate frame a masterpiece of craftsmanship. Yet, in the mirror's reflection, the figure turned away, beckoning towards a mysterious depth beyond the glass. A soft breeze whispered beneath my door, carrying the fragrance of rain-soaked earth and autumn leaves, a paradox of scents in the winter air. Distant wind chimes serenaded me with a melody both soothing and unsettling, as if harmonizing with an unseen rhythm. Drawn to my desk, I unearthed my forgotten sketchbooks, their pages a testament to a reality askew. Images of the figure, the mirror, and the enigma they held sprawled across the paper, each stroke a puzzle piece in a grander design. The room's ambience shifted, suffused with a pearlescent luminescence that seemed to emanate from the very window before me. The drawing sharpened, gaining clarity as if guided by an invisible hand. A faint scratching sound teased my senses, evoking the ghostly echo of pencil on glass, though no movement betrayed its source. And in my reflection, superimposed upon the artwork, a subtle anomaly caught my eye. A mirror image that mirrored my every move, a silent partner in a dance of reflection. Slowly, the realization dawned upon me. The sketch was not a mere drawing, but a threshold, a portal beckoning me into the unknown. The figure, my presumed twin, sought to convey a message, a revelation shrouded in the guise of artistry. With each breath, the glass fogged, not to obscure but to deepen the scene, unveiling layers of a hidden narrative. The wind chime's melody wove a haunting tale, a lullaby of ages past, stirring memories long forgotten. In a timeless reverie, I delved deeper into the mystery, uncovering clues hidden in plain sight. A key, identical to one lost in the mists of time, dangled from the figure's neck, a symbol of inheritance and legacy intertwined. The room's temporal fabric warped, stretching moments into eternity, blurring the boundaries of reality. Warmth and chill embraced me in a symphony of sensations, a gentle ebb and flow of consciousness washing over me. Guided by an unseen hand, I sought solace in my grandmother's art box, a treasure trove of forgotten relics. Nestled within its depths, a journal lay in wait, its pages a mirror of the sketch before me. Whispers of doorways between worlds and the art of mirror walking danced across the parchment, illuminating a path of enlightenment. And as the day waned, I sat in quiet contemplation, the drawing a silent sentinel, a riddle left unsolved but understood in fragments. With the fading light of evening, I chronicled my journey, capturing fleeting glimpses of the ethereal in ink and graphite. Each stroke echoed the whispers of the morning, a cadence of discovery reverberating through the room. Tomorrow awaited with its own mysteries, its own revelations. But in that moment, I embraced the enigma that had woven itself into my reality. The wind chimes sang their cryptic melody, a reminder of the thin veil between the mundane and the extraordinary. A reminder that sometimes the true magic lies in the unseen, in the whispers of a drawing etched on glass. Story 3. Late one afternoon, as I was tidying up, a remarkable discovery unfolded before me in the forgotten corner of my living room. A small patch of rich soil had appeared, bathed in the soft glow of the setting sun, with tiny green shoots breaking through the earth. The earthy scent mingled with an eerie feeling that this growth was beyond the ordinary. Kneeling down, a sense of unease washed over me as I inspected the plants. Initially, the thought of uprooting this strange growth crossed my mind, but an inexplicable force held me back. The delicate stems swayed gently, as if dancing to a silent tune, drawing me in with their hypnotic motion. The soil beneath my fingertips radiated a gentle warmth, pulsing with an undeniable life force. Time seemed to slip away as I found myself captivated, spending endless hours watching the plants flourish before my eyes. Each morning, the garden had expanded ever so slightly, now adorned with delicate ferns unfurling their spiraled leaves and flowers of an otherworldly blue hue, shimmering in the dim light. The fragrance grew more intoxicating, evoking memories of warm summer nights and elusive dreams. The transformation extended beyond the plants. The walls surrounding the garden took on a pearlescent sheen, as if reflecting the enigmatic energy emanating from within. At night, a soft, ethereal glow emanated from the corner, pulsating like a heartbeat, syncing with my own breath. My slumber deepened, filled with vivid dreams of subterranean gardens where flora communicated through luminous roots. Upon waking, the sensation of soil lingered on my skin, blurring the line between reality and reverie, especially during the hushed moments before dawn when the garden thrived. Curious events unfolded within the house. Books opened to pages illustrating ancient botanical lore. Houseplants leaned towards the garden as if drawn by an unseen force, and the room maintained a constant warmth and humidity independent of the weather. One evening, as I observed the garden from my armchair, a wondrous sight met my eyes. The blue flowers birthed seeds that floated upwards, defying gravity. These luminous seeds danced through the air, casting delicate shadows, and one landed on my sleeve, sprouting a vine that coiled gently around my wrist. Instead of fear, a sense of calm washed over me as the vine pulsated in harmony with my heartbeat. More seeds settled around the room, sprouting patches of growth wherever they touched, extending the garden's reach. In my dreams, I traversed vast chambers of organic architecture, deciphering cryptic messages woven into the intricate patterns of the plants. The garden in my home served as a gateway to a realm beyond, a mere glimpse of a grander design. Weeks turned into a timeless blur as I allowed the garden to flourish unchecked, transforming the room into a sanctuary teeming with life. Vines cascaded from the ceiling, casting ever-shifting patterns of light, while the air brimmed with vitality. Isolation became my chosen path, for how could I explain this metamorphosis to others? The plants became my confidants, their silent companionship a balm to my soul. Now as I pen these words, the garden's influence permeates every nook of the house, blurring the boundaries of reality. Mushrooms sprout between floorboards, walls pulsate with bioluminescence, and the air shimmers with electrified seeds. Rather than fear, I embrace each transformation, for the garden reveals the hidden layers of existence, the realms within realms. In the stillness of night, a melodic hum emanates from the garden's origin, a harmonious chorus of growth and life. Amidst the silence, faint whispers seem to emerge from the ethereal song, I relinquish the need for comprehension, surrendering to the enigmatic allure that enfolds me like a living embrace. The garden's expansion mirrors the expansion of my consciousness, entwining with it like roots seeking sustenance in fertile soil. Perhaps one day, a wanderer will stumble upon this house, a testament to the mysterious force that chose my living room as its conduit. Until that moment arrives, I remain a witness and a participant in this tranquil, mesmerizing invasion. Story 4. In the hushed stillness of a typical evening, a subtle symphony of whispers began to rise from the depths beneath me. These murmurs, veiled by the distant hum of the city beyond, carried a time-worn essence layered with an air of insistence. With each soft footfall, the faint voices seemed to grow in intensity, as if the very foundation of the house was imparting ancient secrets long forgotten. While my aging abode had always communicated through gentle creaks and quiet settling sounds, these whispers held a different resonance. They bore significance, though their words eluded my comprehension. The sound evoked a memory of wind weaving through autumn foliage, or the delicate rustle of pages turning in a deserted library. It was during my nightly tea ritual, as wisps of steam spiraled from my cup, perfuming the air with the calming aroma of chamomile and honey, that I first detected their presence. The weathered wooden floor beneath me, polished smooth by generations of passage, seemed to radiate a gentle warmth that contradicted the chill of the autumn evening. Gradually, over the passing days, I discerned a pattern in the whispers. They crescendoed at dusk, when the fading sunlight bathed my walls in hues of golden amber. Far from menacing, the voices bore a wistful quality that stirred a deep-rooted familiarity within me. At times, I found myself humming along to their ethereal cadence, drawn by a melody that resonated with inexplicable recognition. Driven by curiosity, I spent more evenings seated quietly on the floor, pressing my palm against the pulsating wooden boards. The surface thrummed beneath my touch, alive with a subtle energy. I uncovered that certain floorboards, particularly those near the bay window where morning light pooled, held a stronger affinity to the whispers. One rainy evening, with droplets tapping softly against my windows, a peculiar phenomenon unfolded. The whispers synchronized with the rainfall, melding into a harmonious symphony that enveloped the house. The soft glow of my reading lamp cast dancing shadows that swayed in time with the melodic sounds. Ensconced in my favorite armchair, cocooned in a cozy blanket, I realized the whispers had become a comforting presence in my solitary existence. I commenced documenting their patterns in a journal, noting nights when they seemed to form words in unfamiliar languages that resonated on an emotional level. They spoke of distant recollections, of joy intermingled with longing, of time flowing like a river through ancient stones. The more I listened, the more I felt tethered to a vast and enigmatic entity. With the advent of winter, ushering in prolonged nights and heavy snowfall, the whispers grew more defined in the profound silence of those snow-laden evenings. They seemed to narrate tales of all who had dwelled within these walls before me, their aspirations and reveries seeping through time's layers like water through soil. I found solace in sharing my own anecdotes with the floor, whispering softly into the quietude of the house about my day, my musings, my dreams. Occasionally, as I wandered through the house at night, the wooden boards would exude warmth beneath my bare feet, as if acknowledging my presence. This sensation mirrored the tender intimacy of clasping hands with a trusted companion, an exchange of solace and warmth. The whispers would rise to meet my steps, orchestrating a gentle duet between bygone eras and the present moment. On a particularly frigid night, when frost etchings adorned my windows like delicate lace, a remarkable discovery unfolded. While rearranging my furnishings, I stumbled upon a small brass key wedged between two floorboards. As it nestled in my palm, the whispers swelled into a melodious chorus. The key exuded a comforting warmth, and an unspoken understanding hinted that it belonged to the very essence of the house, though its lock remained elusive. This key became my talisman, a tangible link to the enigmatic entity beneath my feet. When held, the whispers seemed to grow clearer, yet always remained just beyond the threshold of linguistic translation, akin to a word lingering on the tip of one's tongue or the fading fragments of a dream upon waking. Now, as I pen these words by the flickering candlelight, the whispers persist in their gentle serenade beneath me. They have woven themselves into the fabric of my home's rhythm, as natural as the stair creaks or the pendulum of my grandmother's clock. I have embraced the enigma, finding tranquility in the acceptance that certain enigmas are more poignant when left unsolved. The floorboards still emanate warmth beneath my nightly tread, and the whispers continue to greet me each morning. Sometimes I ponder if the house selected me, if it awaited one who would listen to its tales without demanding to unravel all its mysteries. In the end, I have discovered that residing alongside mystery can offer a more profound solace than uncovering every answer. I now wear the brass key suspended from a silk ribbon around my neck, and in the liminal space between slumber and wakefulness, I almost grasp the essence of the whisper's message. Yet perhaps it is fitting that some mysteries are meant to be felt rather than deciphered, experienced rather than expounded upon. Story 5. Venturing into an overlooked nook of the local library, my fingers brushed against a weathered leather-bound book resting on a dusty shelf. The book's ancient pages yielded a hidden surprise. A delicate piece of paper slipped out, unveiling a map adorned with enigmatic symbols. The scent of age and ink wafted from the paper, and the map portrayed unfamiliar paths and landmarks that hinted at a forgotten realm. Nestled in an armchair nearby, the soft velvet enveloped me as the afternoon sun filtered through towering windows, casting gentle shadows over the aged parchment. Each line on the map bore a meticulous precision, every stroke imbued with purpose and significance. Curious symbols adorned the margins, resembling ancient scripts unknown to my scholarly pursuits. The gentle patter of rain against the window pane created a tranquil cadence, harmonizing with the contemplative aura of my discovery. Tracing the pathways with a fingertip, a peculiar sensation arose. The paper radiated warmth, and the ink shimmered faintly in the dim light. The more I delved into the map, the more apparent it became that certain elements shifted when viewed from different angles. In a corner of the library, an antique grandfather clock marked the passage of time with soft, resonant chimes, each toll seemingly infusing the map's symbols with a subtle luminescence. Enthralled by the mysteries unfurling before me, I observed how the pathways converged towards a central point, adorned with an intricate compass rose. Outside, the rain intensified, and the library's ancient heating system responded with gentle creaks and sighs, blending into a melodic backdrop to my exploration. Some symbols on the map corresponded to carvings in the library's stone archways, previously dismissed as mere ornamentation. Silently, I embarked on a journey through the library's passages, clutching the warm map before me. The paper seemed to guide my steps, emitting a heightened warmth in specific directions. The usual library sounds, rustling pages, faint footsteps, and the distant shuffle of books, faded into an expectant hush as I ventured into an uncharted section concealed behind reference materials. The intricate woodwork bore the same symbols as the map, and the air carried the perfume of old books intermingled with hints of summer rain and distant thunder. Approaching evening, the library lights brightened, yet in this secluded alcove, the illumination cast peculiar shadows that defied the shelves' positions. The map in my hands continued to radiate warmth, revealing hidden lines drawn in what appeared to be invisible ink when held at certain angles. Tracing these concealed paths with a tender touch, the ambient temperature subtly shifted, and shadows danced in defiance of the steady light. The grandfather clock's chimes reached me as if through a watery veil, distorting into a mesmerizing, dreamlike melody. What commenced as a leisurely afternoon had evolved into a profound enigma, with the map unveiling not only physical routes through the library, but also temporal passages. Certain sections of the map, viewed in the shifting light, offered glimpses of the library as it might have existed in bygone eras. As closing time loomed, I tenderly folded the map and returned it to the book, marking the page with a library slip. The book's spine remained blank, save for a solitary symbol mirroring the compass rose. When I endeavored to check out the book, the librarian's computer revealed no record of its existence in their system. Since that fateful day, I frequent the library during rainy afternoons when the sunlight weaves through the windows just so. Occasionally, I discover the book in different locations, almost as if it moves of its own accord through the shelves. The map continues to unveil new paths and symbols, and I've noticed other patrons engrossed in similar books with akin maps, though our gazes never meet directly. The library has transformed into a realm of endless possibilities for me. Not solely a collection of books, but a labyrinth of potential discoveries. On tranquil evenings, as rain taps against the windows and the grandfather clock intones its enigmatic melody, I unfurl the map and heed its warm guidance through the shelves. Each corner turned holds the promise of understanding something vast and wondrous. Perhaps the true enigma lies not in the map's destination, but in the journey it beckons us to embark upon. A voyage through the silent interstices between moments, where time flows akin to pages turning in an ancient tome, and where every shadow harbors the allure of an undiscovered realm awaiting revelation. Story 6. Drifting along a quiet country lane in the early hours of the morning, I found myself enveloped by a thick, swirling fog. Amidst the hushed stillness, a gentle voice whispered my name, carrying with it a sense of eerie familiarity. The sound, drifting on the damp air, echoed with a chilling clarity that sent shivers down my spine. The fog encroached from all directions, almost as if it held secrets waiting to be unveiled. I eased off the gas pedal, letting my car glide forward at a leisurely pace. The soft, diffused glow of the headlights seemed to illuminate the mist, causing it to pulse with a mysterious inner light. Each breath I took filled my lungs with the cool, misty air, carrying the earthy scent of wet grass and morning dew. The cool touch of the leather steering wheel under my fingertips guided the vehicle through the ethereal landscape. The whispers persisted, neither growing louder nor fading away, maintaining a delicate balance between clarity and ambiguity. They evoked memories of a time long past, a faint echo of something or someone just beyond reach. Lost in the fog's embrace, my mind wandered through recollections of childhood days and evenings of autumn. The road ahead vanished into a sea of whiteness, forcing me to rely on instinct rather than sight to navigate. Time seemed to stretch and slow, each moment lingering like honey dripping languidly from a spoon. The soft hum of the engine provided a soothing backdrop to the whispers that now seemed to surround me from all directions. They murmured words that teased at understanding, like distant voices carrying through thick walls, almost clear, yet just out of reach. Strange patterns began to take shape in the fog, subtle swirls and eddies that trailed my car like wisps of smoke from a snuffed candle, dancing with ethereal grace. These forms seemed to inscribe messages in the air, but they dissipated before I could decipher them, leaving behind only vague impressions of meaning. The temperature inside the car gradually dropped, visible as delicate clouds formed by my breath mingling with the mist outside. The fog caressed my windows like gentle fingers, leaving tiny droplets that meandered down the glass, reflecting dim light and creating a constellation of miniature stars around me. Through the mist, shadowy figures emerged by the roadside, old fence posts perhaps, or trees, yet they morphed and shifted into shapes that stirred distant memories. A silhouette reminiscent of my grandmother's rocking chair, another resembling the old windmill behind our family home, though both long lost to the passage of time. The whispers grew clearer, weaving tales of forgotten promises and conversations left unfinished, of moments suspended in the eternal present. Recognizing the voices as echoes of those I had lost, their words melded into a soft symphony of memories. Time itself seemed to hold no sway in this liminal realm between reality and recollection. The fog enveloped my car, creating intricate patterns that hinted at profound meanings just beyond grasp. It was as if the mist itself sought to convey something profound, something to be felt rather than understood. The road beneath my tires transformed, feeling more like the smooth dirt path leading to my childhood home rather than the asphalt it once was. Glimpses of tall grass swaying in an unseen breeze and delicate flowers lining the roadside, reminiscent of those my mother used to gather for the kitchen table, emerged through the parting mist. The whispers evolved into a soothing melody, familiar yet enigmatic, comforting yet mysterious. They spoke of cyclical journeys and endings merging seamlessly with beginnings. A smile tugged at my lips, a sense of peace settling within me without clear reason. The fog drew closer, its cool embrace brushing gently against my skin through the cracked window. Fear dissipated, if it had ever truly lingered, replaced by a sense of connection with the mist that called my name, an old companion, a custodian of memories and keeper of forgotten moments. Perhaps it had been awaiting my arrival, or maybe I had been anticipating its call. The distinction blurred, insignificant in the grander scheme of things. The road ahead remained veiled, the fog swirling gracefully around my car, guiding me with whispers and the gentle tug of nostalgia. In the midst of uncertainty, I realized that profound truths often emerge not in moments of clarity, but in the soft, swirling veils of ambiguity. Driving deeper into the fog that whispered my name, I comprehended that some questions are best left as faint echoes in the mist, never fully grasped but felt in the depths of the soul. Story 7. On a leisurely stroll through an overgrown estate, I stumbled upon a hidden gem, an old greenhouse veiled by a curtain of ivy. Stepping inside, a wave of warmth embraced me, mingling with the earthy fragrance of soil and blossoms. The vines wrapped around the cracked glass walls seemed alive, whispering ancient secrets as their leaves danced in silent conversation. Each gentle rustle sent a shiver down my spine. Delving further into the greenhouse, the sunlight filtered through the glass panes above, casting a soft, dreamlike glow. Golden specks floated in the air, swaying to an unseen melody, creating enchanting patterns that pulsed with a mysterious rhythm. Weathered wooden shelves still cradled clay pots of exotic plants with iridescent petals and shimmering leaves, casting a spell of wonder in the dim light. The soothing symphony of water droplets falling from the worn roof marked time like nature's own metronome, lulling me into a trance. Tracing my fingers along the aged workbench, I noticed intricate markings resembling musical notes etched into the wood, a language of its own, foreign yet strangely familiar. A corner of the greenhouse beckoned me, where a massive vine coiled around an ancient chair, its leaves a dark hue with delicate silver veins. As I drew near, the air grew colder, the whispers more distinct, as if the plants acknowledged my presence, their leaves swaying to follow my every step. In the heart of the greenhouse stood a majestic stone pedestal covered in a mossy film, holding an ornate copper watering can that seemed frozen in time. When I lifted it, cool water still lingered inside, exuding a sweet, elusive scent of night-blooming flowers and dew-kissed mornings. The longer I lingered, the more peculiarities unveiled themselves. Shadows cast by the plants danced independently, movements defying logic. Whispers evolved into a murmured dialogue just beyond comprehension. A leather-bound journal, hidden between pots, revealed cryptic entries detailing experiments on botanical consciousness and the enigmatic language of leaves. As the sun dipped below the horizon, the greenhouse transformed, reflecting light in kaleidoscopic hues that breathed life into the shadows. The vines whispered with newfound urgency, their rustling forming syllables that seemed to call my name, a symphony of nature's secrets. Some vines began to sway without a breeze, their silver-veined leaves glowing softly, weaving patterns that entranced my gaze. Time warped, flowing like molasses, as if the greenhouse held its own temporal rhythm. When I finally decided to depart, the exit was veiled by vines that hesitated to part, as if reluctant to release me. Clutching the journal, its yellowed pages brimming with untold wisdom, I stepped back into the crisp evening air, feeling the absence of the greenhouse's vibrant energy. Returning sporadically, I witnessed the ever-evolving vine patterns, heard new whispers in the humid air. The journal's author remained a mystery, but fresh words would materialize, penned in a script akin to growing vines. I learned that some mysteries are not meant to be unraveled but embraced, savored like the unfurling of a leaf in sunlight. In dreams, the whispers grew clearer, hinting at a language only the greenhouse could teach. The silver-veined plant flourished, its intricate patterns hinting at a deeper meaning waiting to be unveiled. Perhaps one day, I will decipher the message woven within the vines. Until then, each visit becomes a meditation, a journey into a mystery that evolves like the vines themselves, slowly, purposefully, leading me deeper into the enigmatic twilight. Story 8. Amidst the hushed embrace of a secluded mountain cabin, a peculiar discovery awaited me, shrouded behind an aged tapestry in the main hallway. The staircase, narrow and secretive, beckoned with an air of mystery as I ascended, the gentle creak of the wooden steps beneath my feet accompanying me like a whispered secret. With each upward stride, the atmosphere grew cooler, a subtle chill enveloping me in a soothing embrace. Arriving at the summit, instead of a room, my gaze met a featureless wall pulsating with a rhythmic hum, a silent melody that resonated deep within my soul. The abrupt dead end left me unsettled, a lingering sense of unease stirring within me, birthing a cascade of unanswered questions that danced on the edge of my consciousness. That initial encounter with the hidden staircase marked the genesis of my extraordinary journey. Seeking solace and respite, I had sought refuge in the cabin, drawn to its remote location nestled among towering pines that whispered ancient secrets to the wind. The interior bore witness to bygone eras, sturdy wooden furniture, weathered books adorning the shelves, and the faint aroma of cedar mingling with the smoky embrace of the stone fireplace. The tapestry veiling the staircase depicted a moonlit forest, its colors faded by time, yet retaining a peculiar luminescence that stirred something deep within me. During quiet evenings, I found myself entranced by the shifting patterns of the woven trees, their movements almost lifelike when observed from different angles. The fabric itself, cool to the touch, seemed to hold a frosty memory of the hidden passage concealed behind it. Night after night, a haunting rhythm echoed through the cabin, the deliberate creak of the stairs, a melodic dance of ascent and descent that commenced with the stroke of midnight. I meticulously documented the pattern, noting its unwavering consistency, yet the intervals between steps ebbed and flowed like a forgotten melody seeking to find its tempo once more. On the third night, as the moon cast its silvery glow through the windows, a revelation unfolded before me. Faint markings materialized on the blank wall, intricate swirls and symbols reminiscent of ancient scripts yet foreign to my eyes. With the break of dawn, the ephemeral inscriptions faded, leaving the wall devoid of any trace of their existence. A subtle humidity enveloped the vicinity of the staircase, veiling the steps in a perpetual mist that clung like dew at dawn, leaving behind intricate patterns etched on the wooden treads. a testament to the enigmatic dance between moisture and wood, a symphony of nature's artistry. Observing the external wall from my bedside window, I found no trace of the staircase's emergence, confounding the laws of physics and reality. The cabin's architecture defied logic, denying the existence of the hidden passage I had ascended, a spatial enigma that should have rattled me to the core, yet instead evoked a sense of wonder and awe. Establishing a nightly ritual, I perched on the third step, enveloped in the symphony of settling wood and ethereal whispers that lingered in the air. Fragments of familiarity danced on the breeze, whispers of old parchment, dried herbs, and the mineral essence of hidden springs. Occasionally, a phantom melody drifted down from above, a ghostly serenade that tugged at the strings of memory. The temperature contrast between the base and summit of the staircase remained unwavering, a steady 12-degree drop unaffected by external conditions. The chill that embraced me was not discomforting but rather invigorating, akin to the first breath of autumn after a sweltering summer. On my final night within the cabin's embrace, a serendipitous discovery awaited me. A weathered journal nestled between the steps, its pages blank save for a cryptic message. The stairs remember what the walls forget. Dates spanning decades adorned the pages, each accompanied by a simple tally mark, forging a connection to unseen souls who had traversed this labyrinthine anomaly. As I bid farewell to the cabin at dawn, I ascended the mysterious staircase one final time. The wall before me seemed to whisper secrets, its surface undulating like liquid in the early light. Pressing my palm against it, I felt a gentle vibration echoing my heartbeat, a fleeting glimpse of a boundless expanse beyond, a realm where staircases intertwined, leading nowhere and everywhere simultaneously. Though I never returned to that secluded haven, the memory of the staircase lingers, a tranquil echo that resonates in the depths of my being. In the twilight realm between wakefulness and slumber, the measured cadence of creaking steps, 3 up, 2 down, pause, repeat, lulls me into a realm of enigma where questions and answers intertwine in a delicate dance. A gentle reminder that some mysteries are not meant to be unraveled but experienced in the ethereal realms of the unknown. Story 9. Late one night, a gentle sound stirred me from slumber, a soft scraping that danced along the walls of my bedroom. With a flicker of light, I beheld fresh brushstrokes etched upon the wall, a mysterious design unfurled before me, foreign yet captivating. The strokes bore precision, emanating a sharp, chemical aroma that cut through the familiar warmth of my sanctuary. Standing there, heart racing, I pondered who had ventured into the night to leave behind this enigmatic trace. And so began my nightly ritual of scrutiny, inspecting the walls with care, running fingertips over their smooth surface, inhaling the lingering scent of fresh paint that materialized and dissipated like morning mist. The original design held steady, yet subtle alterations emerged. A new curve here, a deeper shade there, as if the artwork evolved in the hush of my slumber. My bedroom, once a haven bathed in soft lamplight and adorned with aged books, now found itself intertwined with this enigmatic creation. Shadows waltzed across the brushstrokes, forming ever-shifting patterns that danced with the passing night. At times, in the quiet before dawn, I awoke to find the paint seemingly wet, glistening under the soft light seeping through my curtains. The hum of my ceiling fan became a soothing backdrop as I delved into the expanding artwork, tracing its intricate designs with my gaze. The style felt oddly familiar, its fluid movements stirring fragments of memory, a dream half remembered, a childhood echo lost to time. Subtle shifts began to manifest elsewhere in my room, books arranged in new formations, echoing the wall's design. The throw blanket on my reading chair folded into geometric shapes mirroring the painted patterns. Even the morning light cast deliberate shadows upon the hardwood floor, extending the artwork's reach beyond the wall. On a tranquil night, rain tapping a gentle melody on my windows, I stumbled upon a small wooden box precisely at the artwork's genesis. Crafted from dark, polished wood, its surface bore the same flowing patterns adorning my wall. Inside rested a collection of brushes, each tinged with the hues of the mysterious artwork. The scent of paint evolved, mingling with hints of vanilla and cedar, weaving a fragrance that straddled the realms of reality and dreams. In the stillness of night, whispers of bristles against wall teased my senses, a fleeting sensation dissolving into the ambient symphony of my home. Weeks passed, and the artwork morphed gradually. Abstract forms hinted at landscapes, distant mountains, forests, and waters that shifted with the light's embrace. Colors deepened, aged like cherished memories finding their essence. In those fleeting moments between sleep and wakefulness, I glimpsed movements within the painted scene, elusive and fleeting. My bedroom transformed into a living canvas, the artist hidden from view. Subtle signs of their presence lingered, a warmth in corners, possessions rearranged with an artist's eye, the waft of herbal tea that ebbed and flowed. Instead of fear, a calm settled within me, a sense of sharing my space with a gentle, creative spirit. Offerings left out found their place within the evolving aesthetic, melding seamlessly into the larger artwork enfolding my living quarters. Blank papers returned with delicate sketches, hinting at the artwork's next iteration. As autumn's embrace drew near, the artwork shifted, embracing warmer tones of crimson and orange that harmonized with the existing tapestry. The box of brushes remained, now adorned with fresh drops of paint each morning, brimming with promise. The enigmatic artist remained a mystery, their presence elevating my room into a realm where reality and imagination intertwined in subtle harmony. Even now, as lamplight bathes my words, the whisper of bristles against wall serenades my senses, a reminder of the unseen hand that weaves creativity through the gentle darkness. Story 10. The gentle crackling of the fireplace enveloped the room in a soothing embrace, casting a warm glow that danced across the walls. Nestled in my favorite armchair, I ran my fingers through my dog's velvety fur as he lay beside me, his eyes heavy with drowsiness. Everything seemed tranquil, until a sudden shift in the atmosphere caught my attention. Max, my loyal companion, stiffened beside me, his ears perking up and his breathing growing labored. With a sudden burst of energy, he leaped up and began to bark, his gaze fixed on a shadowy corner of the room. Initially, I brushed off his behavior as typical canine sensitivity to the slightest disturbances, a creaking floorboard or a rustling leaf outside. But this time, there was an unease in the air, a tension that lingered like a question mark. Max's bark was not one of aggression or excitement. It was a hesitant sound, filled with uncertainty. As the flames flickered and cast flickering shadows across the walls, my gaze drifted towards the darkened corner that had captured Max's attention. An old, weathered bookshelf stood there, its shelves lined with ancient tomes that whispered of forgotten tales. Despite the outward appearance of normalcy, an invisible chill seemed to emanate from that very spot, sending a shiver down my spine. Wrapped snugly in my blanket, I observed as Max cautiously approached the mysterious corner, his tail lowered, but not tucked in fear. This nightly ritual of his, this silent vigil he kept, became a source of intrigue and apprehension for me. It was as if he sensed something beyond my comprehension, something lingering in the shadows. Subtle changes began to unfold within the room. Books shifted inexplicably, temperatures fluctuated without reason, and unfamiliar scents wafted through the air like whispers from another time. My logical mind searched for rational explanations. The settling of an old house, the play of light and shadow, my own imagination running wild in the stillness of the night. One fateful evening, as I sat engrossed in a book by lamplight, Max's bark pierced the silence once more. Startled, I lifted my gaze to witness a peculiar sight. Dust particles, illuminated by the lamplight, swirled and danced near the bookshelf, defying the laws of nature. They moved with purpose, almost forming intricate patterns that hinted at a hidden message. Beside me, Max whimpered softly, his warm presence a grounding force in the midst of the inexplicable. His watchful eyes spoke of a bond between us, a silent understanding that transcended words. I reached out to comfort him, feeling the steady rhythm of his heartbeat beneath my touch. Intrigued and somewhat unnerved by these occurrences, I began to document them in a journal. The time of day, the changes in temperature, Max's reactions. Slowly, a pattern emerged, revealing a connection between the strange happenings and the waxing and waning of the moon, the gentle patter of rain against the window pane. The books that shifted mysteriously always belonged to a particular shelf, housing volumes of poetry and folklore that seemed to hold a piece of the house's history. In the hazy moments between wakefulness and slumber, I caught glimpses of a world beyond our own, a realm where shadows pulsed with an otherworldly energy, where reality blurred into dreams. Despite the enigmatic nature of these events, I never felt fear or unease. Instead, there was a quiet curiosity, a sense of shared exploration between Max, myself, and the unseen presence that lingered in the shadows. It was a dance of discovery, a slow unfurling of mysteries that defied explanation. Now, as I sit by the crackling fire, pen in hand, Max lies at my feet, his breath steady and peaceful. His ears twitch now and then, attuned to the subtle shifts in the room. In the corner, the shadows deepen as night descends, cloaking their secrets in a veil of darkness. There is a comfort in the unknown, a familiarity in the mysteries that surround us. Some truths are not meant to be unraveled, but simply embraced, like the soft whisper of wind through the trees, or the gentle murmur of twilight. As the fire crackles merrily, casting its warm light upon us, I find solace in the quiet moments, in the trust we place in the unseen threads that bind us together. Story 11. In the dimly lit hallway, the faint scent of aged wood lingered as I bid goodnight to the lights. The house enveloped me in a hushed stillness, its ancient floorboards whispering soft creaks under my weight. Just as I neared the entrance to my bedroom, a sound halted my steps, a slow, dragging creak that sent a shiver down my spine. My gaze shifted, and a knot tightened in my stomach. The attic door stood ajar. I stood frozen, attuned to the quiet symphony of the house, the subtle exhale of wind through weathered frames, the gentle settling of time-worn timbers. Unlike the rest of the house, the attic door held a unique presence, heavy, worn, veiled in a patina of secrets etched within its grain. Ordinarily, I would have closed it promptly, sealing away whatever mysteries lay beyond. Yet an unexplainable curiosity rooted me in place, tendrils of mist weaving through my thoughts. The darkness on the other side of the door wasn't an abyss of black, but a soft, silvery hue, moonlight seeping through unseen crevices, casting ethereal shadows that danced with a life of their own. Almost involuntarily, my hand extended towards the door. The wood felt cool, smoother than memory recalled, unveiling echoes of forgotten moments with each touch. Whispers of conversations faded into time, echoes of lives once intertwined. With each step towards the threshold, the floorboards hummed a different tune. Not their usual sharp creaks, but a melodic whisper, akin to a breath rather than a mere sound. Recollections of my grandmother's tales surfaced, of houses that retained memories, spaces that transcended physical boundaries. A gentle draft grazed my skin, neither warm nor cold, imbued with a sense of anticipation, as if the very air held its breath in anticipation. Crossing the threshold, the attic unfolded before me in an unexpected tableau. Moonbeams cascaded through a lone window, painting a luminous rectangle on the wooden floor where dust motes pirouetted in a deliberate choreography. Shapes materialized from the shadows, vintage trunks, forgotten furnishings, silhouettes pregnant with untold narratives. Yet one item beckoned my gaze, a petite wooden chair, bathed in the moon's glow, its placement deliberate, as if a spectral occupant had just vacated moments earlier. Approaching with caution, the chair exuded an aura of antiquity, its surface cloaked in a delicate layer of dust, disrupted by a recent disturbance, a faint imprint hinting at a recent departure. Silently, I traced the chair's contours, a flicker of memory teasing the edges of my consciousness. It felt both familiar and alien, akin to a half-remembered dream upon waking. Outside, a distant owl's call pierced the night, its reverberations causing the dust motes to swirl in an elegant ballet. In that fleeting moment, the moonlight seemed to shift, crafting almost discernible patterns that hinted at fleeting shapes before dissolving back into serenity. A profound sense of presence enveloped me, not menacing but gentle, observant, intertwined with the very essence of the attic. The chair stood sentinel, the moonlight maintaining its silent vigil. In the quietude, a realization dawned. I was not alone. Yet this solitude bore no malice. It was a companion, a silent witness to the essence of the space we shared. Some enigmas, I comprehended, were not meant to be deciphered but experienced, felt, etched into the recesses of awareness where reality and fantasy coalesced into something sublime and inexplicable. I lingered, a silent sentinel in the room, breathing in harmony with its story, intertwined with its essence, a part of a tapestry woven from whispers of the past and echoes of the present. Story 12. On a rainy night, the city lights shimmered against the slick pavement as I parked my car. In the midst of the gentle raindrops, a small handwritten note caught my eye, clinging to my windshield. Its message was enigmatic, signed with a handwriting that felt oddly familiar, my own. The note exuded a scent of dampness and aged cologne, triggering a sense of unease in my gut as I stood in the cool drizzle. It simply read, "Meet me where light kisses water at midnight. All will be clear when you arrive." Beneath those words lay my signature, replicating every loop and curve I had meticulously crafted over the years. The paper felt fragile between my fingertips, as though it had journeyed through time rather than just being left on my windshield. As I drove home that evening, the note lay beside me on the passenger seat, its presence drawing occasional glances as if it might vanish. The rhythmic swish of the wipers against the glass created a hypnotic cadence, lulling my mind into a wandering state. The lingering scent of cologne in my car stirred elusive memories that danced just beyond my reach. In my apartment, I placed the note on my desk, bathed in the warm glow of my reading lamp. The paper bore an aged appearance, yellowed at the edges, with a texture hinting at years gone by. Yet, what captivated me most was a faint watermark visible when held up to the light, a symbol I had sketched countless times in my childhood journals. That night, sleep came in fragmented waves, interrupted by the gentle tapping of rain on my window. In my dreams, I witnessed reflections of myself traversing through mirrors, each figure clothed in attire from different eras, each carrying notes exchanged silently among them. Upon waking, the note had transformed. The ink had subtly shifted, unveiling a second message beneath the initial one, only visible in the early morning light. Time is not what you believe. Neither am I. Though the signature remained unchanged, it now seemed to shimmer with a subtle opalescence, akin to oil on water. I spent the ensuing day in serene contemplation, observing the rain weave intricate patterns on my windows. The world beyond appeared to move at a different tempo, as if time itself was bending around the enigma of the note. My phone sat silent, though I could not recall switching it off. The clock on my wall ticked with an unusual resonance, each second elongating more than the last. By nightfall, the rain had eased into a gentle mist, beckoning me towards the nearby lake. The water's surface rippled with delicate droplets, whispering secrets through its concentric circles. Approaching the shore, I noticed the streetlights casting ethereal columns of light onto the water, penetrating its depths. Seated on a bench overlooking the lake, The note now nestled warmly in my pocket. I inhaled the fragrance of moist earth and something more, that familiar cologne, growing ever more potent. A figure materialized in the distance at the water's edge, their form blurred by the mist, standing motionless, entranced by the dance of light on water. They raised a hand in salutation, prompting my own hand to mirror the gesture instinctively. As I rose to draw closer, the mist twisted into peculiar patterns, forming vaporous doorways seemingly leading elsewhere. The cologne's aroma intensified, ushering forth a cascade of memories, not from my past, but from moments yet to unfold. Alas, I never reached the figure by the lake. Instead, I found myself back in my car, the note now bearing a fresh message. "You've already treaded here. You'll return." My signature remained intact, yet I comprehended it wasn't a forgery. It was genuine, inscribed by my own hand in a moment I had yet to encounter. The rain continued its tranquil descent, cocooning me in the mystery like a comforting shroud. Some inquiries, I realized, were not meant to be answered but rather savored, akin to the space between raindrops or the pause between heartbeats. The note discovered its abiding abode in my desk drawer, though occasionally, late at night, I swear I hear the rustling of paper rearranging itself into new missives. I continue to frequent the lake, watching the dance of light on the water. At times I glimpse versions of myself, past or future, the distinction eluding me, stationed at various points along the shore. We exchange knowing gazes without uttering a word, the cologne's scent wafting between us, conveying messages more profound than speech could ever articulate. The enigma of the note lingers unsolved, yet it has melded into my being, akin to a gentle echo trailing my footsteps. In moments of tranquility, I find myself reaching for a pen, pondering if somewhere, sometime, another iteration of myself is receiving a note I have yet to pen. Story 13. The air around me was heavy with the fragrance of damp earth and the freshness of wet leaves. Above, the branches swayed gently, allowing slivers of golden sunset to filter through the canopy. I strolled along a narrow path, drawn by the distant melody of a bird. But then, as if slipping into a dream, the song abruptly ceased, and I found myself standing still, enveloped in the ancient breath of the forest. The moss beneath my feet felt like velvet, each step sinking into its plush embrace. The evening sun bathed everything in a soft amber glow, yet a subtle shift had taken place. The shadows seemed to elongate, extending like gentle tendrils across the forest floor. As I continued forward, my footsteps made no sound, and a mysterious compulsion led me deeper into the transformed woods. The trees towered taller, their bark shimmering with elusive patterns that danced at the corner of my vision. White flowers adorned the ground like scattered pearls, emitting a gentle, ethereal light in the dimming twilight. The temperature dropped gradually, accompanied by a delicate mist that draped the tree trunks in silken veils. The distant murmur of water surrounded me from all directions, its source elusive yet ever present. A sweet, unfamiliar scent lingered in the air, redolent of honey and ancient tomes. Amidst my meandering, I began to notice small stones arranged in intricate designs, forming perfect circles and spirals with meticulous care. Some bore delicate etchings, while others pulsed with a faint inner glow, beckoning me to touch them. But an unspoken understanding kept me from disturbing their arrangement. The forest grew denser, yet oddly luminous, its mist now imbued with a pearlescent sheen that bathed everything in a gentle radiance. I passed through clearings where the grass whispered secrets beyond my comprehension, and where mushrooms formed rings mirroring the stars above. Though the sky was veiled by thick foliage, a sense of cosmic harmony pervaded the air. Time seemed to lose its grip, flowing like honey from a spoon. Minutes and hours held equal weight as I traversed the timeless realm. My watch had ceased its ticking, its hands occasionally reversing direction when I glanced away. The crystal face bore intricate frost-like patterns that shifted endlessly, defying logic. A small stream wound its way uphill, its crystalline waters devoid of reflection. Beneath the surface, lights danced like celestial bodies trapped in liquid motion, emitting a haunting melody akin to reversed music, both familiar and alien in its beauty. Shadows flitted at the edge of my vision, benign specters moving in parallel to my path, indifferent to my presence. The moss beneath my feet unfurled patterns that glowed briefly before fading, as if the forest itself was documenting my passage, only to erase it in the next moment. The air shimmered with minuscule points of light, dancing purposefully and morphing into shapes of elusive familiarity. In a vast clearing, the mist swirled in intricate geometries, culminating in an ancient tree that defied natural laws. Its twisted trunk formed a natural cathedral, its leaves shifting through hues beyond human naming. Drawing closer, I discerned inscriptions covering the bark, conveying tales of wanderers, spanning realms between heartbeats and worlds beyond reckoning. Night descended, yet darkness held no dominion. Instead, a soft silver twilight enveloped the forest, emanating from all directions at once. The air pulsed with a subtle vibration that mirrored my own heartbeat, intertwining with my essence. Fear dissipated in the familiarity of the unknown, for how could I fear a place that felt like home, despite its strangeness? I find myself now penning these words in a journal, materialized from the ether, ink rising to form letters as if guided by unseen hands. Not lost, but exactly where I am meant to be, embraced by the enigmatic forest that whispers secrets of the ages. The bird's melody may have faded, but new harmonies beckon me, tunes that taste of moonlight and cadences that caress like autumn leaves. Perhaps I shall follow their call, or perhaps I shall linger here, where the surreal feels natural and time ebbs like water through cupped palms. In this realm where being lost is inconsequential, I surrender to the mysteries that unfold, knowing that the forest holds the answers I seek, even if I do not yet comprehend the questions. Story 14. In the hush of a late autumn evening, with the wind whispering secrets outside my window, a mysterious envelope found its way into my hands. Its paper, weathered by time, bore words written in a deep indigo ink, as if plucked from the depths of a hidden past. Each phrase carried a weight of familiarity, unearthing truths I had long kept buried within. The rain tapped gently on the glass, a soft accompaniment to the scent of ancient ink that lingered in the air, stirring a sense of unease within me. Who could possess such intimate knowledge of my innermost self? The elegant script on the page danced before my eyes, at once known and foreign, its texture beneath my fingertips akin to velvet brushed in the wrong direction. As the golden glow of my reading lamp caressed the yellowed paper, shadows waltzed among the lines of the letter, each sentence crafted with care. The fragrance of aged paper mingled with the earthy scent of autumn leaves drifting through the cracked window, weaving a tapestry of nostalgia around me. I remember the day you buried the silver locket, the letter whispered, sending a shiver down my spine. It referenced a moment from 2 decades past, a private act beneath an ancient oak tree in my grandmother's garden, a memory I had safeguarded in silence. The creak of wooden floorboards marked my journey to the worn leather armchair, cradling me in its familiar embrace as I delved deeper into the letter's revelations. It recounted details of my life with a precision that felt as though the writer had lived within my very soul. They spoke of secrets long kept, like the butterfly-shaped birthmark hidden in my hair, the last promise made to my father, and the name of my childhood imaginary companion. A gentle breeze stirred the curtains, carrying the distant chimes of my grandmother's wind chimes, a haunting melody from the past. With each turn of the page, the writer unveiled more secrets, each one more intimate than the last. They delved into dreams unspoken, moments believed to be solitary, their words shifting subtly as if mirroring the dance of light and shadow in the room. The paper seemed to pulse with a silent energy, a heartbeat captured in ink, as they foretold of future encounters and choices, blurring the lines of time before my eyes. My usually aloof feline companion settled on my lap, eyes fixed on the letter, as the grandfather clock tolled midnight, its deep chimes resonating through the house. The fading ink on the page took on an ethereal quality, as if transcending the physical realm, painting a vivid picture of a future meeting shrouded in mystery. The signature at the letter's end morphed before me, shifting from familiar to foreign, leaving me unsettled yet captivated. Placing the letter on my desk, I observed as the ink shimmered, revealing glimpses of hidden narratives beneath its surface. A fleeting glimpse of an altered reflection in the window left me questioning reality, a fleeting reminder of the mysteries that enveloped me. As I retired for the night, a lingering sensation tugged at my consciousness, as if the ink on the letter continued to weave new tales, whispering secrets yet to be unveiled. Such is the enigmatic nature of receiving missives from a keeper of all secrets, even those yet to be written. Story 15. In the beginning, I believed it was just my forgetfulness at play. Notes scattered around my home, reminders to buy milk, lock the door, simple tasks, seemingly self-written. But one morning, a new note awaited me on my pillow. Wake up, he's inside. The soft morning light danced through my room, painting gentle shadows on the walls. I held the paper delicately, feeling its worn texture, a familiarity too close for comfort. The handwriting, an exact match to my own, down to the curves of my Y's and the crosses of my T's. Living alone in this old house, the creaks of the wooden floors and whispers of the wind had been my companions. A silent understanding between the house and me had always existed. But a shift had begun, subtle at first, like a crooked painting on the wall. The notes started appearing 3 weeks past. Innocent reminders evolved into personal directives. I brushed them off initially, blaming my tired mind from late-night writing sessions. Each day, new notes surfaced unexpectedly. By the coffee maker, add cinnamon today. On the mirror, check behind the shower curtain. Beside my keys, take the long way home. The messages grew more intimate, like secrets whispered by a confidant. I observed changes within my home, books rearranged, my reading chair retaining a hint of warmth, scents long forgotten lingering in the air. My grandfather's clock ticking in the background became my solace as I delved deeper into these mysteries. A journal became my companion, documenting each note, each subtle alteration. Writing revealed a peculiar phenomenon, my handwriting shifting imperceptibly, yet undeniably mine. One evening, as the sun bathed my walls in amber hues, I scrutinized the notes strewn across my table. Different papers, different origins, yet a shared familiarity. Patterns emerged in their timing, often appearing in the stillness between night and dawn. Sometimes the rustling of paper stirred me awake, though only silence greeted my investigation, accompanied by a new note. The house reacted to my awareness, temperatures fluctuating, reflections lingering, rooms echoing with my unheard words. The notes became a silent dialogue between my unseen companion and me. Non-threatening, they exuded a protective aura, a guardian in the shadows. Last night, I penned a question of my own. Who are you? This morning, a response in the familiar script awaited. You know who I am. You've always known. As dusk approaches, shadows stretching across the floor, understanding dawns on me. The handwriting, the familiarity with my routines, the gentle guidance, all signs hinting at a truth I've avoided. Perhaps these notes aren't from a stranger, but from a version of myself, unmet or forgotten. The setting sun casts long shadows, the house murmurs softly, and a new note materializes by my hand, its arrival unseen. Time to remember, it whispers, and now as I sit here, I am prepared to listen. Story 16. The journey up the mountain unfolded serenely, with the autumn leaves adorning the road in a vibrant tapestry of reds and golds. The cabin stood true to its description, rustic, tucked away in seclusion, a sanctuary for a brief escape from the world. Yet as I crossed the threshold, a sense of unease crept in. A duffel bag lay near the entrance. A half-drunk cup of coffee sat abandoned on the table, and a solitary, chilling note awaited on the bed. "Don't let him in." I stood there, my own bags clutched in hand, inhaling the crisp mountain air that wafted through the slightly ajar window. The coffee cup retained a lingering warmth, a delicate swirl of cream adorning its surface. Someone had been here not long ago, that much was certain. Though my rational mind urged me to contact the rental company, an inexplicable force held me back, a compelling need to unravel the mysteries shrouding this place. The cabin itself exuded a sense of history, its exposed wooden beams and sturdy stone walls hinting at tales untold. A gentle breeze whispered through the gaps, carrying with it the aromatic essence of pine and the promise of impending rain. The floorboards murmured softly underfoot as I ventured further into the dwelling, each footfall deliberate, measured. In the kitchen, more remnants of the previous occupant awaited discovery. An open notebook lay sprawled on the counter, its pages filled with hurried script that grew increasingly erratic towards the end. Mundane musings on weather and wildlife gave way to unsettling entries. The knocking begins at midnight, always at midnight, yet there is no one there. As the sun dipped below the horizon, bathing the cabin in a golden glow, I prepared a fresh cup of tea, the familiar ritual a comfort as I delved deeper into the mystery. The duffel bag yielded no surprises, only clothing, toiletries, and a well-loved paperback novel. Everything appeared ordinary for a vacation, except for that ominous note and the cryptic diary entries. As night descended, I found myself drawn to the expansive picture window overlooking the forest. The trees swayed gracefully in the deepening twilight, their silhouettes casting intricate patterns on the earth. The allure of solitude in this remote locale was palpable, almost protective in its embrace. Yet as I gazed at my reflection in the window, a disquieting realization set in. Behind me, where the empty living room should have been, a flicker of movement caught my eye, a shadow that defied the fading light's natural dance. Whirling around, I found nothing amiss, yet the air bore a weight, a tension as if the cabin itself held its breath. Turning back to the notebook, I sought answers within its pages, hoping to decipher what had unsettled the previous guest. The accounts chronicled a descent from tranquil seclusion to mounting dread, with mentions of nocturnal footsteps on the porch, fleeting shapes outside the windows, and an unseen presence lurking at the forest's edge. What gripped me most was the description of a peculiar scent, like damp earth and decaying leaves, yet somehow amiss. It lingers only in his presence. That same earthy fragrance now enveloped me, ancient and primal. The wind rose outside, raindrops patterning against the windows in an irregular cadence. Each tap reverberated through the cabin, melding with its wooden framework in a symphony of whispers and creaks that blurred the line between reality and the unknown. Navigating towards the bedroom, I noted a gradual chill creeping through the hallway with every step. The note still lay on the bed, its message a stark warning, while faint scratches marred the window frame, a futile attempt to ward off an unseen threat, or perhaps to confine something within. As midnight loomed, I found myself ensconced in the living room, watching the rains dance on the glass. The previous guest's words echoed ominously. The knocking begins at midnight. Uncertain if I wished to stay awake for the impending hour, my body resisted the call of sleep. The initial knock resonated not from the door or windows, but from within the very walls, a gentle rapping, easily dismissed as mere settling. Yet with each subsequent tap, the sound drew nearer, accompanied by the pungent scent of damp earth. My reflection in the window warped, distorting as though viewed through rippling water. What followed defied explanation. The knock ceased, replaced by a profound silence that pressed against my senses. In the window's reflection, a figure materialized from the shadows, merging with the darkness itself. Startled, I whirled around to face an empty space, save for the lingering aroma of earth and leaves. I refrained from contacting the rental company, sensing they held no record of the previous guest. 3 more nights I spent in that cabin, the midnight knocks a haunting ritual. Yet I adhered to the note's directive. I barred him entry. Whether him referred to the shadowy figure or another enigma, I may never discern. Strangely, fear no longer gripped me. Instead, a tranquil acceptance enveloped me, as if I had become part of the cabin's enigmatic story. At times I ponder if the previous guest lingers here still, a spectral sentinel issuing warnings to those who tread within. And on occasion, when my reflection aligns just so in a window's pane, I question if I truly departed that cabin, or if a part of me remains, forever intertwined with its mysteries. Story 17. Late at night, as I sifted through a stack of unread emails, a peculiar message caught my eye. It promised a glimpse beyond, with a mysterious link. Curiosity tugged at me, urging me to click. In an instant, my screen transformed into a realm of shifting symbols and surreal images that defied all logic. The usual hum of my room faded into a deep, resonant vibration as I gazed in awe at scenes that blurred the boundaries between digital fantasy and an unsettling truth. The images flowed like liquid mercury, each one more captivating than the last. My fingers hesitated over the keyboard, unable to close the browser. Soft blue light from the monitor cast gentle shadows on the walls, creating patterns that seemed to pulse with life. Outside, a gentle rain began to fall, its rhythmic patter against the window melding with the digital anomaly before me, creating a strangely soothing backdrop. As I watched, the shifting patterns coalesced into recognizable shapes, akin to old photographs developing in a dark room, slowly revealing their hidden stories. The ambient whir of my computer fan mingled with the rain, enveloping me in a white noise that warped my sense of time. My eyes followed the emerging images, a solitary door in an endless field, a tree yearning for the unseen, a window framing a sky beyond imagination. The room's temperature subtly fluctuated, like gentle waves caressing my skin with hints of warmth and coolness. The scent of petrichor wafted through the window, blending with the familiar aroma of aged books and electronics. Each breath felt profound, as if carrying whispers of wisdom just beyond reach. My screen flickered, and the images gained purpose, weaving together in a seamless tapestry of the unknown. I beheld a garden where vibrant flowers bloomed in unearthly hues, their petals capturing an ethereal light. The rustling leaves outside synchronized with the digital flora, blurring the line between reality and fiction. Leaning closer, I made a remarkable discovery. The reflection in the monitor no longer showed my own face, but an altered version of my room. Books arranged in unfamiliar patterns cast shadows that formed cryptic words in unknown languages that somehow resonated with me. The creak of my chair became a rhythmic code, adding to the enigmatic allure. Hours slipped by unnoticed, time bending like a pliable thread. The division between time and space blurred, like delicate paper in a rainstorm. The hypnotic images continued their dance, each scene more intricate than the last. Staircases led to starlit doorways, corridors twisted against geometry, and moonlit gardens where flowers sang silent melodies. The computer's hum evolved into a harmonious frequency, aligning with my heartbeat. The rain outside served as a natural metronome for the digital symphony unfolding before me. My breathing synchronized with the peaceful rhythm, expanding my mind to embrace the impossible. Peripheral vision revealed the room's shadows moving independently, not menacingly, but with a curious grace, like cats at play. The soft glow of the desk lamp pulsed in time with the shifting images, casting a warm halo that illuminated reality to a gentle sheen. Gradually, the images faded like watercolors dissolving in clear water, leaving lingering impressions in my mind. The familiar room reasserted itself, yet a subtle shift had occurred. The boundary between digital and physical realms felt fluid, uncertain. When the screen returned to my mundane inbox, I reclined in my chair, listening to the rain's ongoing serenade. Though the clock showed only an hour had passed, it felt as if I had lived a lifetime of moments, each one etched in memory like insects in amber. The enigmatic link had vanished, leaving no trace. Despite fruitless searches, glimpses of those impossible images lingered in my mind's eye, reflected in windows or shimmering in rain puddles. On quiet nights, when reality blurs with dreams, a resonant frequency thrums through my being, a reminder of the unsolved mysteries that dwell in the peaceful realm between wakefulness and slumber, where reality bends but never breaks. Story 18. In the deep hush of the night, a delicate melody drifted from afar, breaking the stillness. Nestled in my cherished armchair, a woolen blanket draped over my knees, and a forgotten cup of chamomile tea at my side, I glanced up from my book. The ethereal notes swirled through the air like gentle snowflakes, barely perceptible yet undeniably present. It was a piano, its tune unfamiliar yet hauntingly familiar, like a whisper of a long-lost dream. The house lay cloaked in darkness, save for the soft glow of a lamp beside me, casting a warm halo of light around. Shadows danced on the walls, swaying to the mysterious music's rhythm. Rising slowly, I let the blanket slip to the floor with a hushed sigh. Each step on the wooden floor whispered a tale as I made my way to the living room window. Beyond, the tranquil night unfolded, bathed in the silvery moonlight that bathed the garden, revealing the ghostly shapes of trees swaying in the nocturnal breeze. Not a soul stirred in the neighboring houses, all swallowed by the night's embrace. Yet the music persisted, seeming to emanate from every corner and nowhere all at once. I wandered through the house, room by room, chasing the elusive melody that morphed with each step. In the kitchen, it beckoned from the living room. In the living room, it seemed to echo from the stairs. On the stairs, it cascaded from the upper floor. A hypnotic game of echoes guided my silent dance through the familiar spaces of my abode. Ascending to my bedroom, I found the door slightly ajar, though I could have sworn I left it wide open that morning. Moonbeams filtered through the sheer curtains, painting intricate patterns on the floor. The music now rang clearer, more distinct, drawing me closer to its origin. Pausing at the threshold, I surveyed the room with intent. My ancient music box, a keepsake from my grandmother resting on the bedside table, gleamed in the dimness. I had never dared open it, convinced it lay broken. But in the quiet of the night, its tiny ballerina twirled gracefully, casting a dancing shadow on the wall. The melody mirrored the enchanting tune that lured me, now amplified as if the entire house resonated with it. With measured steps, I drew near, my heart echoing the music's rhythm. The music box radiated an otherworldly glow, its surface oddly warm to the touch. The ballerina spun on, her porcelain face now etched with familiar features, features I knew well. It was my grandmother's face, captured in miniature, her sweet smile reminiscent of childhood days. For a fleeting moment, the figurine's eyes met mine, and the melody shifted into a lullaby she once crooned to me. Frozen, I let the music's embrace wash over me, a wave of peace and nostalgia. The notes filled the room until they ebbed away, like the tide receding from the shore. As the music faded, the music box clicked shut, enveloping the house in a profound silence, pregnant with significance. Returning to my armchair downstairs, I retrieved the blanket from the floor, cocooning myself once more in its warmth. The book lay open, but my mind lingered on the music box and my grandmother. I pondered how many melodies lay trapped in its silent gears, awaiting their moment of liberation. Since that night, on rare occasions when the house falls into a profound hush and the full moon bathes the garden in its glow, a familiar sweet melody fills the rooms. I no longer seek its origin. Instead, I close my eyes and listen, understanding that some mysteries are meant to be felt rather than unraveled. Story 19. The night was shrouded in a thick darkness. only a feeble glow from the street lamp outside casting a faint light into the room. I shifted in bed, seeking a more comfortable position, when suddenly I felt it. A subtle weight at the foot of the mattress, as if someone sat there, unmoving, watching me intently. My breath slowed as I lay motionless, trying to decipher this strange sensation. The weight remained steady, a gentle indentation in the mattress, as if a patient observer awaited the opportune moment. The old house groaned around me, its aged timbers settling in the stillness of the night. Every familiar creak now held a deeper significance, a hidden language only I could discern. Struggling to see in the dim light, I focused on my other senses. The air carried an uncharacteristic chill. The cotton sheets draped over me felt heavier than usual, almost as if they anchored me in place. Outside, the leaves rustled softly in the night breeze, their whispers laden with enigmatic secrets that eluded my understanding. Time seemed to warp and twist, minutes blending into hours as I remained unmoving, attuned to every subtle shift in the atmosphere, every faint sound. The street lamp's glow cast elongated shadows that seemed to pulse with the sway of the tree branches outside. My heart beat steadily, not with fear, but with a primal vigilance. Gradually, shapes materialized from the darkness. The silhouette of my dresser, the curve of the curtains, and a deeper shadow at the foot of my bed. It was still, unthreatening, merely existing in quiet companionship. A sense of calm washed over me, replacing the initial shock with a nameless curiosity. The presence held neither malice nor benevolence. It was a silent witness to this nocturnal moment. Memories of my grandmother's tales surfaced, of night visitors who observed without interference, their purpose enigmatic, yet benign. The ticking of my bedside clock marked the passage of time, each second a gentle reminder of the world's ceaseless motion. As a car passed by outside, momentarily illuminating the room, the weight at the foot of my bed persisted, immutable and real. Subtle changes began to manifest in my surroundings. A metallic tang in the air, shadows imbued with depth, a silence pregnant with meaning. Had this presence always been here, unnoticed, observing my joys, sorrows, and contemplations in the dead of night? Instead of unease, a sense of companionship enveloped me, as if this unseen observer shared a silent kinship with my nocturnal routines. With the first light of dawn softening the darkness, the weight at the foot of my bed seemed to lift, dissipating like morning mist. I remained still, understanding that some things were meant to be felt, not seen. Upon rising, I found the room empty, bathed in the gentle glow of early morning. The impression on the mattress where the weight had been remained undisturbed, yet a subtle shift had occurred. The room felt altered, expanded, as if new possibilities had taken root in the night's embrace. Now, each evening as I settle into bed, I am keenly aware of the space around me, attuned to the quality of darkness, the texture of silence, and the weight of shadows. Occasionally, in the deep hours of the night, I sense that familiar depression at the foot of my bed once more. No longer gripped by fear, I welcome its presence, listening to the night's murmurs and pondering the stories my unseen visitor has come to witness. Story 20. The rain whispered against the window, a gentle lullaby that filled the room with tranquility. Its rhythm matched the beating of my heart as I sat by the desk, a cup of steaming tea sending tendrils of warmth into the air. The night beckoned for quiet contemplation, for losing oneself in the pages of a book until sleep claimed its rightful place. But then, 3 crisp knocks shattered the peacefulness, slicing through the stillness with purpose. My breath caught in my throat as I hesitated, the unexpected interruption stirring a sense of unease within me. The old armchair groaned softly beneath me as I shifted, fingers tracing the creased pages of my beloved paperback. The clock on the wall, its hands pointing to 11:47 p.m., added its gentle tick-tock to the symphony of raindrops outside. Living on the top floor meant solitude was a familiar companion. making the arrival of a visitor at this late hour a rarity. The idea of someone standing outside my door in the dead of night sent a shiver down my spine, tiny pinpricks of apprehension dancing along my skin. I remained motionless, straining to catch any sound amidst the rain's soft melody and the radiator's low hum. Perhaps it was a figment of my imagination, a product of my late-night indulgence in ghostly tales. I nestled deeper into the embrace of my blanket, seeking solace in its comforting warmth. Then it came again. 3 knocks, evenly spaced, each strike echoing the one before it. My heart quickened, not out of fear, but out of a strange familiarity that tugged at the edges of my memory like a half-remembered dream. Rising slowly, I moved towards the door, my footsteps muffled by the soft carpet beneath my feet. The warm glow of the reading lamp bathed the room in a soft light, casting dancing shadows that swayed with the flickering flame. As I stood before the door, a curious realization struck me. The usual draft that seeped beneath the door was absent, a stark contrast to the storm raging outside. Placing my palm against the smooth surface, I was met with unexpected warmth, as though the wood had basked in sunlight all day, a stark impossibility on this rainy night. Closing my eyes, I allowed myself to be enveloped by the sensory world around me. The patter of rain, the distant rumble of thunder, the subtle vibration of the door against my hand. 3 more knocks followed, softer this time, as if hesitant, as if the unseen visitor sought to gently rouse rather than startle. With each knock, the warmth radiating from the door pulsed through me, a gentle current that flowed from my hand to my heart. A memory surfaced, a fragment of wisdom my grandmother had shared about nights like this, when boundaries blurred and mysteries whispered. Some doors, she would say, lead to places beyond our knowing. Standing there, hand pressed against the door's warmth, I wondered if this was what she meant. The knocking ceased, but the residual heat lingered, a pulsing reminder of presence unseen. The rain's cadence shifted, now mirroring the pattern of the earlier knocks, as time itself seemed to warp and weave around me. A golden hue suffused the room, casting everything in a dreamlike glow, transforming the ordinary into the extraordinary. My books, my furniture, even the steam rising from my tea took on an otherworldly aura, as if touched by some ethereal magic. That night, I chose not to open the door. Instead, I stood in silent communion until the warmth slowly dissipated, the rain reclaiming its random melody. Returning to my armchair, I found my tea still warm, the clock frozen at 11:47 p.m., as though time itself had stood still during that mysterious interlude. On quiet, rainy nights since, I felt that same warmth emanating from the door, a gentle reminder of the enigmatic encounter that altered something deep within me. I've learned to embrace these moments, to cherish the unknown that whispers at the edges of our reality. The knocking never returned, but the change it wrought in me remains, a subtle shift in perception that opened doors within myself I never knew existed. Some mysteries are not meant to be unraveled, but to be embraced as gentle enigmas that lull us into slumber with their elusive allure. As the rain continues to fall and the clock continues its steady rhythm, I find solace in the quiet mysteries that surround us, in the unanswered questions that dance just beyond our reach. And on those special nights when warmth caresses my palm, I smile, content in the knowledge that some secrets are better left undisturbed, their whispers guiding us into peaceful slumber. Story 21. In the midst of a gentle drizzle, I ventured into a peculiar antique shop that beckoned me with its enigmatic allure. Among the forgotten relics and treasures of yesteryears, my attention was captivated by a grand mirror adorned with an intricately carved silver frame. As I peered into the looking glass, the world around me seemed to distort, revealing a shadowy figure standing just behind me, a phantom version of myself caught in a moment of anguish yet to unfold in my reality. The air grew heavy with the fragrance of aged metal and dust, sending a chill down my spine as I grappled with the eerie vision before me. The antique shop was a maze of antiquities, illuminated by the warm glow of golden lamplight that danced between towering shelves of curiosities. Raindrops tapped gently against the Victorian windows, creating a melodic cadence that whispered ancient tales into the stillness of the shop. The wooden floorboards beneath my feet murmured softly with each step, bearing witness to the countless souls who had tread upon them in ages past. Despite my initial trepidation, I found myself drawn back to the mysterious mirror time and again. Its surface held a peculiar quality, at times seeming to absorb light rather than reflect it. The silver frame boasted intricate designs of intertwining vines and forgotten symbols that seemed to shift and sway with each glance. Each time I met my gaze in its depths, subtle alterations in my reflection emerged. A stray gray hair, a crease yet to mark my brow, shadows beneath my eyes hinting at sleepless nights yet to come. The elderly shopkeeper, a spectral presence amidst the ancient artifacts, moved soundlessly through the shadows, her silver hair impeccably styled and her gray sweater blending seamlessly with the dimness. When our eyes met in the mirror's reflection, she offered a knowing smile, hinting at untold secrets shrouding the mirror's enigmatic nature. During my repeated visits to the shop, a curious revelation unfolded before my eyes. The reflection of the room behind me appeared aged and decrepit, its shelves laden with decay, its books crumbling with the passage of unseen time. With each return, the future iteration of myself in the mirror grew more defined, bearing the weight of unseen burdens in the subtle curve of my shoulders and the haunted depths of my gaze. There were moments when my reflection seemed to move of its own volition, reaching out with a silent plea that I could not decipher. As autumn waned into winter, the patter of rain against the windows and the rhythmic ticking of antique clocks enveloped me in a tranquil embrace within the shop's timeless confines. The mirror stood as a silent sentinel, its surface darkening with each passing day. One evening, as dusk draped the shop in hues of amethyst and gold, I noticed uncanny parallels between the items in my home and those glimpsed in the mirror's future reflections. A cracked teacup, a peeling wallpaper, the mirror's visions began to seep into my reality, blurring the lines between past, present, and future. On a hushed Sunday afternoon, the shopkeeper's voice, gentle as a snowfall, finally broke the silence. "The mirror reveals what is destined," she murmured, her fingers tracing the ancient frame. "Yet, foreknowledge does not bind you to fate." Her words bore the weight of unspoken wisdom, hinting at a choice yet to be made. As winter deepened its hold, I made subtle alterations to the future foretold by the mirror. Each deliberate act of defiance against the mirror's revelations caused ripples in the reflection, though the specter of impending sorrow lingered like a shadow. The mirror's surface grew ever darker, cloaked in an ominous shroud that obscured the clarity of my reflection, rendering it a mere echo of what could be. With time, I found solace in the mirror's cryptic prophecies, embracing the gentle dance of raindrops and the hypnotic ticking of clocks as a meditation on the fluidity of time. What once instilled dread in me now kindled a quiet acceptance of life's uncertain course. Now I sit ensconced in the shop's embrace, a silent observer amid the echoes of ticking clocks and falling rain. The mirror's surface, now veiled in obsidian darkness, occasionally flickers with fleeting glimpses of other visitors ensnared by their own reflections of fate. I have become a custodian of the shop's mysteries, a guardian of its enigmas, bearing witness as others confront the dual nature of destiny, immutable yet ever in flux, like apparitions in an ancient mirror that remembers the morrow. Story 22. The gentle cadence of raindrops against my window had become a familiar companion during my nocturnal writing rituals. Each droplet followed a shimmering path down the glass, painting an ever-changing tapestry of liquid light. The soft amber glow of my desk lamp enveloped me in a cozy aura, while the rest of the room embraced the comforting embrace of shadows. I found solace in watching the raindrops, deciphering hidden tales in their wandering trails. But on this particular night, there was a subtle shift in their dance. The water seemed to move in mysterious ways, as if guided by an unseen force. Initially, I brushed it off as a trick of fatigue. The soothing rhythm of the rain had almost lulled me into that blissful state between consciousness and slumber. Yet, as I continued to observe, the peculiar patterns grew more distinct. Droplets avoided certain areas on the glass, forming dry patches that slowly outlined a figure. Intrigued, I leaned closer to the window, my breath catching in anticipation. The reflection not only mirrored the rain, but also captured the dim interior of my room behind me. In that dual realm of glass and water, I noticed a curious anomaly in my own reflection. It seemed slightly delayed, moving in a synchronized yet delayed manner. The rain's whisper intensified, its melodic notes filling my senses. Entranced, I witnessed my reflection's hand reach out to touch the glass, a gesture my own hand did not replicate. The motion was elegant, as if following a choreography unknown to me. A gentle warmth enveloped me, a stark contrast to the chilly air by the window. The features of my reflection began to transform, shifting subtly into something simultaneously recognizable and enigmatic. The eyes held a profound wisdom, depths that transcended time itself. Motionless, I watched as my reflection morphed into a being beyond gender or age, embodying a timeless essence. The rain encircled it like a halo of liquid silver, the droplets defying gravity in perfect orbits. A flicker from my desk lamp briefly dimmed the room, and in that fleeting darkness I sensed a presence beside me, tender and reassuring. As the light steadied, my reflection reverted to mirroring my movements flawlessly. Yet, the rain continued its enchanting dance in flawless circles, a silent testament to the extraordinary encounter. I remained by the window for hours, contemplating the ethereal visitation. The lingering presence felt akin to a cherished melody, neither unsettling nor obtrusive. With the approaching dawn, the rain gradually ceased, leaving behind only mundane streaks on the window pane. Now on rainy evenings, I find myself drawn to that window, abandoning pen and paper on my desk. In those rare moments when the rainfall forms a perfect mirror, I glimpse my other self, peering back at me through the glass. We share an unspoken connection, a mutual understanding that some mysteries are meant to be felt rather than unraveled. The rain persists, each drop carrying the promise of another encounter. And in the tranquil interlude between watching and being watched, I ponder if, in a parallel existence, another version of myself sits by their own window, yearning to catch a glimpse of my world through the gossamer threads of rain. Story 23. The real estate agent had described the house as small yet cozy, a perfect haven for those seeking tranquility. With cautious steps, I roamed through each room, savoring the quiet embrace of the space. But at the end of the hallway, my eyes fell upon a door that had eluded my memory from the initial tour. A flicker of curiosity danced within me as my hand reached for the knob, hesitating before turning it. As the door creaked open, a musty stillness enveloped me, and a fine layer of dust veiled the floor, hinting at years of neglect. It was as if time had stood still in this forgotten chamber. Soft autumn sunlight filtered through a lone window, casting delicate shadows upon what seemed to be an ancient study. A weathered wooden desk commanded attention against the wall, its surface bearing the graceful marks of age. The patterns within the grain of the wood seemed to twist and twirl, captivating my gaze as my eyes adjusted to the dim illumination. A peculiar fragrance lingered in the air, not unpleasant, but redolent of aged books and withered blooms. Intrigued, I gravitated towards the desk, my footsteps muffled by the plush carpet beneath. Through the walls, a distant melody of wind chimes hummed, weaving a tranquil symphony that whispered of a bygone era. Tracing my fingers along the desk's edge, I encountered faint indentations, intricate symbols etched with care, forming an unbroken design. Smooth to the touch, these carvings bore the gentle erosion of countless hands that had traced their path over time. Night after night, I found myself drawn back to this mysterious room. I introduced a well-worn leather chair, rescued from the depths of the basement, and settled into its embrace as daylight waned into twilight. Within these walls, time seemed to adopt a different cadence, unhurried, contemplative. Sometimes a book would accompany me, but more often I would sit in silence, attuned to the subtle symphony of the house settling in repose. One hushed evening, raindrops tapping against the window in a lulling rhythm, my attention was drawn to the desk's drawer. Once steadfastly locked, it now lay slightly ajar, as if beckoning me to explore its secrets. Within its confines, a leather-bound journal awaited, its pages adorned with eloquent script. The entries bore dates that meandered through time, leaping across years and decades with fluid ease. Yet the handwriting remained constant, untouched by the passage of time. The author's words painted a portrait of the room itself, portraying it as a threshold between fleeting moments where time unfurled like honey, languid and sweet. They chronicled the shifting seasons beyond the window pane, recounting conversations with elusive visitors who never manifested elsewhere in the house. The entries exuded serenity, introspection, brimming with reflections on light and shadow, on the essence of silence that seemed to embody a presence. As days melted into weeks, subtle transformations enveloped the room. The dust refused to settle, defying the laws of inertia, though my hands never wielded a duster. The quality of light filtering through the window occasionally diverged from the external world's temporal rhythm. During a tempestuous storm, while the remainder of the house groaned and protested, this room remained ensconced in a tranquil cocoon of tranquility. The journal entries began to unravel a coherent narrative. I commenced documenting my own observations, interweaving them with the enigmatic writer's musings. Upon revisiting my past entries, I noticed subtle alterations. Words rearranged themselves, dates blurred and shifted. Yet this metamorphosis did not unsettle me. Rather, it felt organic, as if the room itself tenderly edited our shared tale. The window held a special allure. From the exterior it appeared as a solid barrier, devoid of any opening. Yet within the room, the window persisted, offering vistas that subtly morphed when my gaze veered away. The garden it peered upon mirrored the one behind the house, yet subtle discrepancies emerged. Blossoms blooming out of season, trees casting shadows in improbable angles. I divulged not a word of this room to the real estate agent or any visitors. It felt intimate, personal, a sanctum reserved for those in need of solace. The original blueprints procured from the local archives bore no trace of its existence, as if it had been appended by an architect who comprehended the necessity for a space where time ebbed differently, where thoughts unfurled at their own leisurely pace. Now, as I pen this chronicle, I ponder the others who have chanced upon this enigmatic chamber, who have contributed to its ethereal tapestry of tranquil enigma. The journal alludes to predecessors, and I sense that successors will follow in their wake. The room feels akin to a shared secret, a legacy passed down through generations of silent seekers. The sun dips below the horizon, or so the light filtering through the window implies. I've observed that the hours on my timepiece lose their significance within these walls. Perhaps that is the room's raison d'être, to proffer a haven where the relentless march of minutes and hours dissolves into a kinder, more lenient essence. I may not grasp the entirety of this room, this realm that straddles existence within and apart from the remainder of the house. Yet, I've come to cherish that certain enigmas necessitate no unraveling. They merely beckon to be savored, to be immersed within. In a world that hurtles forward with unrelenting speed, perhaps we all yearn for a room that defies the architectural plans. A sanctum where time bends and stretches, where dust refuses to settle, and where the light through an inconceivable window bids us simply to exist. Story 24. In the hush of a clear morning, an enigmatic discovery awaited me on my doorstep. An unmarked package, wrapped in weathered newspaper clippings and bound with rough twine, beckoned with a silent invitation. Among the aged headlines and faded images, a delicate label inscribed with my name in precise cursive hinted at a mysterious sender. The package carried a peculiar aura, an amalgamation of ancient paper and a subtle metallic essence, as if it harbored whispers of bygone eras and distant realms. With a mixture of trepidation and intrigue, I gingerly untangled the twine, feeling the stillness of the morning broken only by the soft rustle of autumn leaves underfoot. A gossamer frost adorned the earth, casting a glistening sheen that crunched gently beneath my steps. Surprisingly, the package radiated warmth in my hands, a stark contrast to the chilly air enveloping me. As I unraveled the knots, my fingertips brushed over fragments of news stories from a time long past. Nestled within layers of aged paper, a small wooden box of dark, lustrous wood revealed itself. Its surface, smoothed by the passage of time, boasted intricate carvings that seemed to shift and dance with elusive patterns when observed from varying angles. Despite its modest size, the box possessed a weightiness that belied its dimensions, and a faint vibration pulsed from within, barely perceptible, almost as if it murmured secrets in a language only the air could comprehend. A simple brass latch, adorned with minuscule symbols resembling musical notes, yet unlike any known notation, sealed the lid. Running my thumb over the symbols, a distant melody, ethereal and haunting, teased my senses, carried by the whispers of a forgotten tune on the wind. Settling into the embrace of my favorite reading chair, with the package cradled in my lap, I observed the play of shadows cast by the morning light upon the walls. To my astonishment, the shadows seemed to gravitate towards the box, bending and twisting in defiance of natural laws, as if drawn by an unseen force. Anticipation hung heavy in the air, pregnant with the weight of untold tales waiting to be unfurled. With trembling hands I lifted the latch, the air itself seeming to thicken in protest, resisting the intrusion into the sanctum of the box. The lid yielded with a soft sigh, unveiling a trove of artifacts that caught my breath in my throat. A faded photograph depicting a scene eerily familiar yet subtly askew. Preceded a letter inscribed in the same elegant script as my name on the package. The paper, textured and infused with the fragrance of lavender and age, seemed to shimmer as I perused its contents. "My dearest friend," the letter began, its ink dancing with a life of its own. "By the time you hold this, our paths will have converged in a dance across time's tapestry, entwined in a bond that defies the linearity of existence. These relics belong to a future unborn, memories unformed, and a connection that traverses the bounds of temporal constraints." My gaze drifted to a pocket watch nestled in velvet at the box's bottom, its face a labyrinth of spiraling numbers defying conventional timekeeping. Its hands moved in a dance of their own, a ballet of moments both lived and yet to be lived, guided by a rhythm beyond comprehension. As daylight waned into dusk, I delved deeper into each artifact. A key of a metal unknown to my eyes, a journal filled with my own script recounting tales never experienced, and a delicate dried flower preserving the essence of summer within its petals. The shadows in my study continued their enigmatic choreography around the box, while the sunlight filtering through the windows took on a golden hue, out of sync with the hour. The clock on the wall ticked faithfully, yet its account of time felt increasingly unreliable, as if the boundaries between past, present, and future blurred and merged like rivers converging into the sea. Hours slipped away as I immersed myself in the letter's revelations, the writer privy to secrets buried deep within my soul, foretelling conversations yet to be spoken and choices waiting on the horizon of my existence. With the onset of night, a peculiar phenomenon caught my eye. The newspaper wrapping seemed to shift and rearrange its headlines in my peripheral vision, weaving a tapestry of past, present, and future events, interwoven in a kaleidoscope of temporal threads. The final words of the letter echoed in my mind. Do not rush to unravel this enigma. Let it bloom like a flower in spring. Time is a riddle, and so are we. When the moment is ripe, the path will reveal itself. Until then, safeguard these relics and heed the signs that now shimmer in your sight. Placing each artifact back into the box, I marveled as they arranged themselves in a pattern beyond my conscious control. The latch clicked softly shut, a resonance that seemed to vibrate through the very fabric of time itself. Night descended beyond my window panes, and a realization dawned upon me. The box had inscribed a new chapter within me, expanding my perception of reality into realms both vast and intimate. As I retired for the night, a fleeting glimpse in the bathroom mirror startled me. For a fleeting moment, I beheld a reflection of myself adorned in garments unknown to me, a cryptic smile playing on lips that harbored secrets untold. Blinking, the vision faded, yet the understanding remained that the box had granted me a glimpse beyond the veil of certainty, a door ajar into the mysteries that lie concealed within the folds of time. Now as I pen these words, the box rests upon my desk, a silent sentinel reminding me of the fluidity of existence. In the quiet hours before dawn, its whispers harmonize with the hidden frequencies of the cosmos, a lullaby sung by the universe itself. And on occasion, as I retrieve the mail, missives penned in that familiar script await me, bearing postmarks from tomorrows yet to be born. Story 25. On a stormy evening, as I raced home through a deluge of unyielding rain, the world blurred around me, transforming into a watercolor canvas of shimmering lights and shifting shadows. Amidst the reflection of neon signs on a large puddle, a solitary figure stood with unwavering resolve. Its silhouette, stark against the glistening water, seemed to lock eyes with mine, exuding an aura of mystery and poignancy. This unexpected encounter left me pondering who, or what, had been silently observing me from the rain-drenched darkness. Thus began a subtle haunting that lingered in my thoughts. In the days that ensued, I found myself inexplicably drawn to reflective surfaces, shop windows, car mirrors, even the darkened screen of my phone. Each time, in the periphery of my vision, the enigmatic figure materialized, serene and unmoving, akin to a frozen moment captured in time. Strangely, there was no fear within me. Instead, a strange sense of comfort enveloped me, reminiscent of stumbling upon an old photograph of a forgotten acquaintance. The figure appeared to be clad in antiquated attire, a long coat and a wide-brimmed hat, discernible yet always shrouded in a veil of obscurity. I began taking evening strolls, allowing my feet to lead me through silent streets awash with silver raindrops, filling the air with the earthy fragrance that follows a downpour, crisp, pure, laced with hints of wet pavement and distant blooms. Occasionally, the echo of footsteps behind me, synchronizing with my own, created a tranquil cadence against the damp asphalt. During one such walk, a peculiar detail about the figure's reflection caught my eye. While everything else mirrored in windows and mirrors appeared reversed, this silhouette remained unaltered, defying the conventional laws of light and shadow. Intrigued, I delved into the realm of reflection physics, immersing myself in books on optics and light's essence, accompanied by the soft pitter-patter of rainfall against lofty windows. With each observation, a realization dawned upon me. The figure seemed intent on conveying a message. In every reflection, it stood at a slightly altered angle, as if gradually pivoting towards a specific direction. Like a compass needle settling, it pointed towards the historic quarter of the town, where time-honored edifices stood in a silent communion beneath ancient tree canopies. Following this tacit guidance, I stumbled upon a quaint antique shop previously overlooked. As the bell above the door chimed softly, stirring dust motes that waltzed in the warm amber glow filtering through rain-streaked windows, I discovered an old photograph album bound in weathered leather, its pages tinged with the patina of time. Leafing through the fragile pages, a gasp escaped my lips. There, in a faded sepia photograph dated close to a century past, stood the figure, no longer a mere silhouette, but a clear depiction of a person standing in the rain. Clad in the same garments glimpsed in reflections, a long coat and a wide-brimmed hat, their countenance gentle and vigilant. According to the meticulous script below, the figure was a local physician who tirelessly made house calls regardless of weather conditions, never turning away those in distress. The album unveiled more snapshots, each narrating fragments of a tale. The doctor tending to patients during a bygone epidemic, standing watch through tempests, traversing the very streets I now tread. Their demise while saving others during a harsh winter was revealed in the final pages, yet local lore spoke of their enduring presence, safeguarding the townsfolk. Now, as I catch sight of the figure in reflections, I comprehend the benevolent purpose behind their vigil. They persist as they once lived, a silent sentinel in the rain, watching over solitary souls navigating storms. Occasionally on damp evenings, a whiff of aged leather and medicinal herbs mingled with the petrichor wafts towards me, affirming their continued rounds, ensuring all find their way home unscathed. This tale has remained untold, yet on rainy nights, I observe passers-by slowing their pace as they encounter reflective surfaces, their features softening into faint smiles. I ponder if they too have glimpsed the figure, felt that same serene presence amidst the rain-drenched shadows. Some mysteries, perhaps, are intended not to instill fear, but to remind us that even in solitude, we are never truly alone. The figure frequents my reflections, especially when the weather turns tempestuous. I have grown to welcome these apparitions, these gentle nudges from a vigilant spirit, threading through time like rain through leaves. In a world often brimming with harshness and clamor, there lies an ineffable solace in sharing the tranquil darkness with a guardian who opted to linger, upholding their eternal watch in the realm between raindrops and reflections. Story 26. One quiet evening, as I strolled through my neighborhood on the way home, a peculiar sight caught my eye. The familiar streetlight at the corner of my block, known for its warm amber glow, now radiated a vivid, pulsating blue light that seemed to dance in the night. The once ordinary surroundings were transformed into a surreal dreamscape by this mysterious illumination. A sense of curiosity and wonder enveloped me as I stood there, entranced by the ethereal blue light. The autumn leaves rustled softly in the breeze, creating a soothing background melody as I ventured closer to the enigmatic source. The air carried a faint scent, like that of ozone after a summer storm, mingled with a sweetness that lingered in the cool night air. My shadow, cast by the pulsating light, moved with an eerie fluidity, almost as if it had a life of its own. With each step towards the glowing streetlight, the temperature dropped, but the chill felt refreshing, like dipping into a cool stream on a warm day. The light itself seemed to breathe, expanding and contracting in sync with the rhythm of my heart. Beneath the light, I felt a subtle vibration in the metal pole, as if it were humming a silent tune only I could perceive. Looking up, I noticed the absence of insects around the light, creating an unusual stillness in the night. It was as if the world held its breath in the presence of this mystical blue glow. In the following weeks, my evening walks became a ritual centered around the blue streetlight. Each night brought new revelations, subtle changes in the patterns of the light that seemed to convey a message of their own. Sometimes the flickering resembled Morse code, while other times the light formed intricate shapes in the mist that swirled beneath it. Despite my fascination, the neighbors remained oblivious to the unusual color of the streetlight. When I mentioned it in passing, Their smiles were polite but distant, as if they couldn't see what lay right before their eyes. This led me to question whether I alone could witness this magical phenomenon. Yet the camera on my phone captured the blue glow effortlessly, confirming its existence beyond my perception. One quiet evening, I discovered a collection of ordinary objects arranged in a perfect circle beneath the lamp. A tarnished key, a smooth river stone, a playing card face down, and a silent silver bell that held a mysterious allure. As weeks turned into months, subtle changes began to permeate my daily life. I found myself drifting into deep slumber, with dreams painted in shades of blue and accompanied by gentle humming melodies. My thoughts took on a contemplative quality, as if the streetlight had unlocked a hidden chamber in my mind. Even during the daylight hours, I felt a pull towards the blue light, a beckoning call that resonated with a melody just beyond reach. With the arrival of winter, the light's influence on the surroundings became even more pronounced. Each snowflake that fell beneath the lamp transformed into a shimmering sapphire, defying the laws of nature. The snow never accumulated around the streetlight, instead dissolving into a mesmerizing mist that swirled in intricate patterns. I began documenting my observations in a journal, noticing how the light seemed to synchronize with celestial events such as the full moon and the aurora borealis. Subtle changes manifested in the area surrounding the streetlight. The grass took on a silvery sheen, stray cats gathered in a mysterious semicircle, and the air itself felt denser. It's pregnant with hidden energies. In the dead of night, whispers drifted from the direction of the light, carrying echoes of ancient wisdom and gentle purpose. These nocturnal conversations, though unintelligible, evoked a sense of tranquility and mystery. I kept my observations to myself, cherishing the enigmatic allure of the blue streetlight as my private sanctuary. It became a beacon of peace in a world filled with unanswered questions. To this day, the streetlight continues its mystical display, a silent guardian of the night. Its secrets remain shrouded in mystery, inviting those who dare to contemplate its meaning. As I gaze out of my window, I see the gentle blue glow, a reminder that magic resides in the most unexpected places, waiting to be discovered by those who dare to look beyond the ordinary. Perhaps you too will encounter a similar anomaly in your own neighborhood, a subtle hint of the hidden wonders that surround us. Approach these mysteries with patience and wonder, for in the stillness of the night, the greatest revelations await those who are willing to listen and observe. Story 27. The night held a special essence, that of autumn sneaking into your very bones and whispering promises of lengthening nights. Seated in the cozy armchair of my study, I savored the soft touch of the wind outside, gently caressing the leaves and creating a serene natural symphony. It was in that tranquil moment that a sound stirred from the depths of the basement, a subtle rustling akin to the whisper of ancient paper. Initially, I dismissed it as the usual settling of the house, those familiar noises every abode makes as it readies itself for the night's embrace. Intrigued rather than alarmed, I rose from my seat. The warm glow of the desk lamp enveloped me in a golden aura as I approached the basement door. The wooden steps murmured softly under my weight, as if sharing long-held secrets. With each descent, the air grew cooler, carrying a faint aroma of damp earth and forsaken books. In the basement, shadows waltzed on the walls to the flickering rhythm of the light bulb. Though a familiar sight with its orderly boxes and shrouded furniture resembling slumbering specters, that evening bore a sense of mystery. A detail captivated my attention, a door tucked in the farthest corner, barely touched by the struggling light. Simple in its design, yet unfamiliar to my memory despite hours spent organizing the basement. The brass handle gleamed as if recently polished, beckoning my approach. Step by step, the frigid floor pulsed beneath me, as though alive. As I neared, a chill emanated from the door, causing the surrounding air to shiver. My fingertips grazed the weathered wood, sensing its ancient texture. The door seemed to pulse faintly at my touch, as if acknowledging my presence. The basement's silence deepened, interrupted only by the echo of my racing heart. With trepidation, I gripped the handle. Surprisingly warm against the cold, I turned it with a fluid ease. Without a sound, the door swung open to reveal a remarkable sight. Instead of a wall or another room, a delicate silver mist undulated before me, swaying gently as if moved by an unseen hand. Emitting a soothing, almost hypnotic glow, the mist carried a nostalgic allure, akin to a fading dream upon waking. Within its ethereal embrace, a distant melody played, soft and enchanting. The air bore a sweet familiarity, redolent of spring blooms or freshly brewed tea. Entranced yet cautious, I hesitated at the threshold. The mist danced, forming fleeting shapes that eluded clear definition, an ever-shifting tapestry of faces and landscapes, real yet unseen. Retreating slightly, I closed the door with a soft click. The spell broke, and familiar sounds of the house returned. The clock's tick, the wind's whisper, a distant dog's bark in the slumbering neighborhood. Ascending the stairs, I carried with me a sense of wonder at the extraordinary encounter. In the days that ensued, I revisited the basement, but the door had vanished, replaced by an unyielding brick wall. Yet in the quietest nights, when reality blurs with dreams, I still sense that distant melody, pondering if the door lingers hidden, awaiting another's discovery. Some doors, I've learned, unlock only at certain junctures, where time and space intertwine in ways beyond our grasp. Perhaps it's best, for the enigma of that basement door taught me that not all mysteries demand solutions, and some secrets hold a beauty in their veiled state, like ephemeral dreams that touch reality briefly before dissolving into the silver mists of memory. Story 28. Amidst a dense forest on a tranquil, misty morning, a peculiar rustling caught my attention, distinct from the usual melody of the wind. The leaves whispered secrets as they brushed together, guiding me along an unseen path. Eventually, I found myself facing an ancient headstone, partially veiled by ivy and moss. The air held the heavy scent of damp earth and decay, stirring a sense of unease, as if the past was softly beckoning to be acknowledged. Kneeling beside the weathered stone, my fingers traced the faded engravings, feeling the stories etched into its surface. The stone bore the marks of time's patient erosion, smooth in some places, rough in others, each groove telling a tale of its own. A gentle breeze carried the sweet fragrance of wild roses, their delicate petals scattered around the grave like a natural tribute to the forgotten soul beneath. The whispers around me gained clarity as morning light filtered through the forest canopy, casting dancing shadows on the ground. Beams of light illuminated tiny particles in the air, creating an ethereal ambiance that seemed to suspend time itself. The forest's symphony continued its serene performance. Distant bird calls, the soft rustle of leaves underfoot, and the occasional drip of water from above. I noticed an intriguing detail about the headstone's placement. Unlike the orderly rows found in traditional graveyards, this lone marker stood askew, its angle seeming to beckon further into the woods. Following its lead, I glimpsed a faint path, barely visible amidst the undergrowth, marked by smaller stones akin to the one before me, like breadcrumbs leading towards a mystery. As I ventured along this hidden trail, the temperature dipped slightly, and my steps were hushed by layers of fallen leaves, creating a silent carpet underfoot. The air grew still, yet the whispers persisted, now seeming to emanate from all directions, enveloping me in their enigmatic chorus. Arriving at a clearing where morning mist lingered in lazy swirls around my feet, I beheld an ancient oak tree at its center, its gnarled trunk bearing a tapestry of items hanging from its lower branches. Old photographs in tarnished frames, handwritten letters encased in weathered glass bottles, and personal trinkets spanning different eras dangled with purpose, not by chance. Each item told a story, a frozen moment in time intricately linked to the grave I had encountered. A sepia-toned photograph depicted a young woman in Victorian attire, her gaze mirroring the enigma of the forest. A bottle held a letter dated 1892, its faded ink revealing a tale of profound loss and unspoken vows. The whispers grew softer, more intimate, as if the forest was confiding its secrets to me alone. I realized this was not merely a solitary grave, but a sanctuary of memories, where time folded upon itself. The tree stood sentinel over tales, each item a thread woven into a tapestry of intertwined lives. As the morning advanced, golden shafts of sunlight pierced through the mist, bathing different objects in a luminous glow at intervals. A small mirror caught the light, briefly flashing across the clearing. In its reflection, I thought I glimpsed movement behind me, yet upon turning, only the gentle sway of branches met my eyes. Hours slipped by in that clearing, immersed in fragments of letters, studying photographs, and feeling the weight of history in my hands. Each artifact pulsed with a subtle energy, narrating tales of love, sorrow, and the eternal cycle of life witnessed by the forest. The whispering leaves continued their gentle storytelling, a tranquil backdrop to my revelations. As the afternoon approached, the light shifted, suffusing the clearing with a golden warmth that seemed almost otherworldly. Sensing it was time to depart, a feeling compelled me to leave a mark in this sacred space. Retrieving an old pocket watch belonging to my grandfather, I hung it carefully from a low branch, adding my own thread to the tapestry of memories. Walking back along the path, the whispers altered their tone. No longer beckoning me forward, they bid me farewell with soft sighs. The initial headstone came into view, now seen not as an end, but a beginning. A portal to a realm where memories dwelled in the rustle of leaves and the gentle morning light. I never pinpointed the clearing's location on any map, nor disclosed its coordinates to another soul. Some places are meant to remain concealed, existing in the fragile space between reality and dream. Yet on quiet mornings, when mist descends and leaves murmur, I know it lingers still, gathering stories, safeguarding memories, and awaiting the next wanderer attuned to its call. Story 29. In the hushed embrace of a soft mattress and a cozy duvet, a tranquil scene unfolded. A gentle light filtered through the curtains, casting a soothing glow, while the rhythmic ticking of the clock whispered the passage of time. I inhaled the clean scent of freshly laundered sheets, surrendering to the embrace of weariness. Then a faint rustle stirred the stillness, barely perceptible, yet undeniably close. It emanated from beneath the bed. Motionless, I lay there, my breath steady and controlled. Years of solitude had honed my senses to question every unfamiliar sound, but this one carried a weight, a presence that hung in the air like a veil. The bedroom, familiar and comforting, remained unchanged despite the intrusion. Shadows danced playfully along the walls, painted by the gentle street lamp outside. My collection of weathered hardcovers stood sentinel on the shelves, their spines creating a tapestry of muted hues in the dimness. The vintage alarm clocks ticking, once a lullaby, now felt like a countdown to an unknown revelation. Another sound, delicate and elusive, joined the nocturnal symphony. A soft intake of breath foreign to my own, followed by an exhale carrying hints of mint and earth, like petrichor after a storm. My fingers curled around the sheets, not in fear, but in contemplation. Logic whispered it was the house settling, or a stray creature seeking refuge. Yet a primal instinct contradicted it. Slowly my hand reached towards the edge of the mattress, not to peek, but to sense. The air below felt cooler, yet denser, akin to submerging my hand in water. The sensation evoked memories of childhood, of underwater visions that blurred the line between solidity and fluidity. Time unfolded mysteriously. The clock maintained its cadence, yet moments expanded and contracted like shadows at twilight. I teetered between alertness and a trance-like state, attuned to every whisper and shift in the atmosphere. The presence beneath lingered, neither menacing nor benevolent, merely coexisting alongside my consciousness. Throughout the night, subtle nuances revealed themselves, unnoticed in a state of anxiety. Whispers of floral fragrances caressed the shifting air around my hand, reminiscent of jasmine at dusk. Occasionally, a faint tapping echoed through the room, as if fingers danced on wood from the depths of a well. As dawn approached, the darkness morphed, yielding to the pale light of morning, heralding a change in the subterranean aura. The enigmatic presence ebbed like a tide retreating from the shore, leaving behind a sense of shared nocturnal vigil with an otherworldly consciousness. When daylight bathed the room, I mustered the courage to glance beneath the bed, finding only dust and shadows. Yet the space seemed vaster, deeper, and the floor exuded a warmth incongruous with the morning chill. On a distant board, barely discernible in the dimness, a solitary handprint, smaller than my own, imprinted not in dust, but in what resembled morning dew. I let it linger, a silent testament to mysteries best left unsolved, existing in the ethereal realm between reality and reverie. Each night, as I nestle in bed, the sounds below adopt a companionable cadence. The gentle rustle, the soft breath, the occasional whisper of movement. I've come to embrace the unknown without fear, acknowledging its presence as a gentle reminder of the vast, wondrous strangeness of the world. The handprint reappears each morning, fresh with dew, in its familiar spot. I no longer seek explanations, just as I no longer question the newfound serenity in my slumber. Some mysteries are meant to linger, drifting in the liminal space between wakefulness and dreams, where the divide between knowledge and intuition fades into a delicate dance of wonder. Story 30. In the heart of the night, a peculiar urge beckoned me to an ancient theater on the edge of town, a forgotten gem now cloaked in the shroud of time. Once resplendent, its grand balconies and plush seats bore witness to a history of applause and theatrical fervor. Stepping onto the weathered stage, a faint, ethereal voice reached out, weaving words heavy with melancholy and yearning. The time-worn walls absorbed the lament, mingling it with the musty perfume of aged draperies and forsaken ambitions, casting doubt upon the emptiness of the theater. A gentle breeze, carrying whispers from unseen crevices, orchestrated a soft symphony of rustling papers and distant murmurs. Each footfall upon the creaking boards released a sigh, as if the stage itself exhaled a lifetime of memories. The air held a weight, thick with the essence of bygone eras suspended in a timeless embrace. Above, the grand chandelier hung in silent repose, its crystals dulled by neglect, yet sporadically catching glimmers of light that filtered through the lofty windows, painting ephemeral patterns across the walls. Drawn to the wings, where props lay hidden beneath ghostly veils, I sensed the lingering presence of the voice that had beckoned me, though now a mere whisper in the shadows. Among the forgotten relics, a weathered dressing room mirror caught my eye, its surface obscured by age yet emanating an otherworldly glow. As I drew near, a chill enveloped me, not unwelcome but distinct. The mirror pulsed with an enigmatic energy, reflecting movements not my own, phantoms of performers long past perfecting their art. The voice, now faintly discernible, a woman perhaps, spun a tale of tragic romance, her words a melodic blend of solace and sorrow. Time stretched and contorted within the theater's embrace, minutes melting into hours as I unearthed relics of a forgotten era, crumbling playbills, costumes imbued with lingering fragrances. The voice guided me through forgotten alcoves, past scattered sheet music in the orchestra pit, notes waiting patiently for musicians long departed. Dusk descended, altering the quality of light that filtered through the windows, casting elongated shadows that danced with purpose across the vacant seats. The voice, a constant companion, never rising above a gentle murmur, led me to a plush velvet chair where I sat, observing dust motes pirouetting in the fading sunlight. The theater, alive with a pulse of its own, expanded and contracted, its walls brimming with the weight of untold tales. In the tranquility of that moment, it dawned on me that the voice did not speak to an individual, but to the very essence of the theater, a sentient being recalling its past. Each uttered word wove a tapestry of memories, standing ovations, tearful farewells, debut performances, and final bows. The voice's cadence enveloped me in a cocoon of nostalgia, a bittersweet sanctuary that transcended time. Night fell, shrouding the theater in a new aura, the voice resonating from every corner and crevice, infusing the air with a gentle vibration. Though the words grew clearer, their meaning remained just beyond reach, like a fading dream upon waking. The chandelier, now bathed in moonlight, cast iridescent hues that danced across the ceiling like ethereal auroras. Drifting on the cusp of consciousness and slumber, I glimpsed phantom spectators, shadows of an audience bathed in moonbeams and darkness, captivated by the voice's ethereal tale. As night deepened, a profound serenity settled over the theater, the voice ebbing gradually like a receding tide. In its wake lingered a sense of gratitude, as if my presence had validated the stories enshrined within the theater's walls. The ancient edifice settled into a hushed slumber, its timbers groaning and sighing in a familiar lullaby. When I rose to depart, the voice had faded to a mere echo, a whisper carried on the night breeze. Yet the theater seemed transformed, imbued with a newfound vitality despite its abandonment. With each step toward the exit, the aged floorboards protested softly, a reminder that some places never truly stand empty, but await a willing listener to unlock their hidden narratives. Even now, in the quiet hours between twilight and dawn, I am drawn back to that mystical theater. The voice, a constant companion, sometimes a mere whisper, a gentle nudge to remind me that within every layer of dust, behind every curtain, lies a story yearning to be heard by those who pause to listen. The theater endures as a sanctuary where the boundaries of time blur and memories shimmer like moonlit dust motes, eternalized in the hushed echoes of that enigmatic voice. Story 31. In the antique store, a fragrance of ancient paper and weathered wood lingered in the air. Tracing my fingertips along the dusty book spines, I stumbled upon a particular one that beckoned me. Its cracked leather cover piqued my curiosity, and upon opening it, a jolt of recognition surged through me. My name graced the first page in a script unknown to me. Outside, the soft patter of rain against the windows created a soothing cadence, in tune with the quickening of my heartbeat. With each step on the creaking wooden floor, I gravitated towards a worn leather armchair bathed in the soft glow of a small reading lamp, casting an amber hue that enveloped the cozy nook. Nestled in the embrace of the well-loved chair, I felt a welcomed warmth emanating from the diary in my hands, as if it had been awaiting my arrival. The faded ink danced beneath my touch, some letters blending into the paper like whispers yearning to be heard. The first entry, dated decades past, bore a striking resemblance to my own handwriting, the curves, the slant, eerily identical. It began with a simple musing. Strange how memories can slip between moments, like shadows passing through unobserved doorways. The rain outside evolved from a gentle tap to a continuous murmur, each droplet carrying a fragment of the tale within the diary, merging the sounds of now with echoes of yesteryears. The room maintained a perfect equilibrium, a cocoon of comfort that beckoned me to delve deeper into the narrative. Within its pages, subtle, inexplicable occurrences unfolded, moments where reality bent and twisted in unfathomable ways. Footsteps echoed in vacant rooms, reflections mismatched their surroundings, and intangible presences lingered without leaving a trace. One passage seized my attention. I've come to realize time is not linear, but a tapestry woven with intricate patterns and unforeseen folds. Some memories are not merely recalled, but lived concurrently in disparate moments. Fear was absent from the writer's words. Instead, a profound sense of awe permeated each page. Layers of experiences blurred the lines between known and unknown, inviting the reader into a realm of tranquil curiosity. the rain's rhythm synchronized with the turning of pages, a symphony blending the rustling of paper with the soft percussion of raindrops against glass. The lamplight cast a golden sheen upon the diary, as if the light itself whispered tales of its own. Family ties transcended conventional understanding, hints of shared experiences spanning generations, memories flowing like water between lives. Faces in the crowds felt oddly familiar, evoking a sense of connection beyond comprehension. Dusk descended upon the antique shop, casting soft shadows that played among the bookshelves, infusing the space with depth and enigma. The rain persisted, a comforting backdrop to the unfolding mystery. The diary's final entries delved into abstraction, dreams more vivid than reality, musings on perception and the multifaceted nature of memories. Reality revealed itself as a fluid entity, far more malleable than convention dictates. Hours slipped by unnoticed as I delved into the diary, yet fatigue eluded me, replaced by a profound serenity. Betwixt remembrance and imagination, the diary transported me to a realm where tranquility and enigma coexisted harmoniously. As darkness enveloped the room, I closed the diary, the warmth of its cover a testament to the myriad memories it held. The rain outside continued its gentle melody, a lullaby of soothing uncertainty. Not all mysteries needed solving. Some were meant to be felt, guiding us to deeper contemplation and peace. The diary remained a bridge between the known and the unknown, urging me to embrace the beauty of ambiguity and find solace in the mysteries of existence. Story 32. The office was immersed in the tranquility of a late-night solitude. The gentle buzz of fluorescent lights serenaded the empty halls. As was my routine, I checked the security camera feed. In the lobby, a lone figure stood near the entrance, his gaze fixed upwards towards the lens. Intrigued, I peered closer, my heart quickening its pace. It was me, a perfect replica of myself, donned in a dark suit identical to mine, stood motionless on the screen. Every feature mirrored mine flawlessly, the faint crook of my nose, the tiny scar above my eyebrow, even the way my hair cascaded to the left. Outside, rain whispered a lullaby, its gentle patter weaving through the night air. The soft blue glow of the security monitor bathed my workspace as I watched, captivated. My doppelganger made no sudden gestures, exuded no menace. He simply stood there, his expression one of quiet intrigue, a reflection of the curiosity I often glimpsed in my own reflection. Time seemed to elongate into a timeless stretch. The marble floors in the lobby mirrored the soft glow of the night, casting warm amber pools around my twins' polished shoes. The scene was a living canvas, reminiscent of an artist's play with light and shade. My fingertips traced aimless patterns on the desk's surface as I pondered my next move. Logic nudged me to alert security, yet an unexplainable familiarity held me back. It transcended mere physical resemblance. A deeper knowing resonated within me, a connection that defied explanation. The wall clock's steady tick marked the passage of moments. Through the rain-streaked windows, city lights danced in a watery ballet, their halos merging and parting like ethereal beings. My double remained still, a mirror image with subtle nuances I hadn't noticed before. His suit bore a sheen hinting at a different fabric, a material from another realm, another era. A distant rumble of thunder heralded a shift in the air. Slowly, he raised his hand, palm outstretched, not in menace but in greeting. The gesture stirred a childhood memory of waving at my reflection, testing the boundaries of reality in the mirror's realm. Despite the strangeness, a warmth enveloped me, reminiscent of simpler times. The ancient wooden floors groaned under my weight as I approached the office door, a sound that echoed memories of my grandmother's home. In that house, I used to dream of parallel selves inhabiting mirror worlds. She encouraged my musings, hinting at the vast mysteries the universe held beyond our comprehension. Each step down the hallway was cushioned by the plush carpet, illuminated by the soft green glow of emergency lights pulsing in sync with my heartbeat. No fear gripped me. only a sense of inevitability akin to the transition from wakefulness to slumber. The lobby doors parted silently as I entered, the scent of rain mingling with warm pavement filling the air. My double stood before me, our breaths harmonizing in the hush. His eyes mirrored the lifelong queries I carried, questions of purpose, identity, the enigma of consciousness itself. In wordless communion, we acknowledged each other, two souls converging in time and space. The ambient light bathed us in identical shadows, blending and parting with the shifting clouds outside. Silence enveloped us, for words felt inadequate in this moment of recognition. With the night's descent, the line between observer and observed blurred. I noticed that his movements preceded mine by a fraction, his eyes closing before I blinked. Who mirrored whom? Who arrived first in this liminal space between reality and dream grew increasingly ambiguous. The security camera, a distant red beacon, observed us both. To its lens, we were perfect reflections, yet I knew we were more akin to echoes, each slightly altered by the journey through space and time to this juncture. Whether he was a projection of my subconscious, a glitch in reality, or something beyond comprehension, I never ascertained. The uncertainty felt fitting, a testament to the mysteries that defy resolution. Some questions are destined to linger in the realm between sleep and wakefulness, between one heartbeat and the next. Presently, during my late nights in the office, I catch glimpses of movement on the security feed, but I refrain from scrutinizing the figure that may linger in the lobby. Some reflections are better left unexamined, some enigmas left to drift in the gentle current of uncertainty. Story 33. The gentle golden glow from my bedside lamp barely reaches the corridor beyond. Lying in bed, my gaze follows the slender ribbon of light seeping beneath my bedroom door. A shadow glides past, deliberate and unhurried, causing my breath to hitch in my throat. No sound accompanies its passage, no soft footfalls to betray its presence. Summoning my courage, I eventually peek into the hallway, only to find it deserted. That evening was 3 weeks ago, and ever since, the shadow has become a nightly visitor. I've grown accustomed to its silent company, though its origin eludes me still. While the aged wooden floors of my home serenade the night with their quiet symphony of creaks and whispers, the shadow moves with a grace that belies its soundless nature. Tonight, as raindrops tap gently against my window and the wind murmurs through the trees outside, I find myself anticipating its return. The warm light cast by my bedside lamp creates a snug haven, deepening the mystery of the darkness beyond. The soothing scent of lavender from my diffuser intermingles with the earthy petrichor wafting in through the slightly ajar window. A ritual has formed around these nocturnal visits. I prepare chamomile tea, allowing its sweet floral fragrance to envelop my room as I nestle into bed with a book. The shadow unfailingly materializes between the turning of pages, drawing my attention to the gap beneath the door. Sometimes it lingers, elongating the suspense, while other times it glides past like a whisper on the breeze. What captivates me most is its apparent responsiveness to my inner state. When anxiety clouds my mind, it moves languidly, as if striving to soothe my troubled thoughts. On tranquil nights, it merely drifts by, akin to a leaf carried by an autumn zephyr. Despite the enigma it embodies, I've never felt threatened by its presence. My grandmother used to recount tales of houses developing a consciousness over time, absorbing the emotions and experiences of their inhabitants. Perhaps this shadow is the house's way of keeping vigil, ensuring my safety as I navigate the threshold between wakefulness and slumber. The nocturnal transformation of my dwelling is palpable. Moonlight bathes the wooden banister in a soft glow, filtering through the skylight above. The antique grandfather clock in the hall below maintains its gentle rhythmic ticking, a sound that reverberates through the serene chambers. The very air seems altered, pregnant with possibility and the weight of untold narratives. Tonight a shift occurs in our customary dance. Observing the sliver of light beneath my door, I discern the shadow's arrival. Instead of passing fleetingly, it lingers, motionless. Minutes trickle by, marked by the gentle ticking of my bedside clock. The shadow remains fixed as if in anticipation. Without fully comprehending my own actions, I address it for the first time. "Hello," I murmur, the sound barely disrupting the hush of the night. The shadow stirs imperceptibly, and for a fleeting instant I sense a form of acknowledgement, akin to a tender nod from a familiar acquaintance. The atmosphere in my chamber warms, enfolding me in a cocoon of comfort. The flame of my scented candle flickers softly, untouched by any breeze. I've delved into countless volumes exploring the paranormal, recounting tales of spirits and unexplained phenomena, yet none quite capture this sensation. There are no chilling drafts, no foreboding sense of dread, no cryptic inscriptions on walls or objects in motion. Only this tranquil presence, this shadow that seems to watch over my nights. At times I ponder if the shadow has always lingered here, unnoticed until now. Perhaps it observed the previous denizens of this abode, standing sentinel as generations traversed these very chambers. Maybe it has awaited this moment, craving acknowledgement, yearning to be embraced as a natural facet of the house's essence. As I lie here, witnessing the shadow gradually dissipate like morning mist, a profound serenity envelops me. The rain continues its gentle percussion against my window, and the house settles around me with familiar creaks and sighs. I am certain that tomorrow night, and every night that follows, my enigmatic companion will return. Come morning, I shall resume my daily routine, yet a part of me will be poised for dusk, yearning for that juncture when I can renew this silent communion with whatever traverses my hallway in the darkest hours. I have ceased trying to expound upon it to others. How does one articulate a presence that bestows solace instead of fear, enigma instead of dread? The shadow has melded seamlessly into my nightly regimen, akin to my chamomile tea and bedtime reading. As drowsiness encroaches and sleep beckons, I fixate on the slender strip of light beneath my door. The shadow passes by once more, its movement so delicate it could have been a figment of my imagination. Yet I now possess a deeper understanding. In this domicile, during the quiet interlude between midnight and dawn, not everything necessitates explication. And so I drift into slumber, enveloped by the gentle nocturnal symphony of my abode, secure in the knowledge that my enigmatic guardian will reappear on the morrow, gliding noiselessly beneath my door, a reassuring presence in the profound depths of night. Story 34. Amidst the quiet passing of time, the abandoned amusement park stood as a forgotten relic, its once vibrant attractions now draped in rust and overgrowth. For so long, I paid it no mind, until one misty evening when a strange compulsion drew me back. Through the haze, a solitary light beckoned from the heart of the park, pulsing with a steady rhythm that seemed to synchronize with the beat of my own heart. The aged structures groaned in the stillness, their peeling paint a testament to bygone days of laughter and joy. Guided by the hypnotic glow, I ventured deeper into the forgotten realm, where the air carried a sweet nostalgia, like whispers of cotton candy and faded memories. Each step along the gravel path was cushioned by the soft murmur of grass swaying gently in the twilight breeze. Nature had begun its slow reclaiming of the park, with ivy embracing the skeletal remains of once thriving rides, and moonflowers blooming in the places where children's laughter once echoed. Approaching the source of light, I noticed a surreal fusion of decay and preservation. The carousel stood frozen in time, its mirrors gleaming with an otherworldly cleanliness, reflecting the pulsing beacon in fractured patterns on the ground. The weathered horses bore a mystical sheen, as if guarding secrets from a distant era. The central pavilion, with its Victorian charm, cast intricate shadows under the warm illumination, blurring the boundaries between past and present. As I drew closer, a sense of timelessness enveloped me, the fog weaving around my feet in lazy tendrils, muffling distant sounds as if underwater. A phantom melody danced in the air, mingling with whispered conversations and the settling sighs of ancient structures. Surrendering to the nocturnal symphony, I found myself swaying to its ethereal rhythm, teetering on the edge of reality and dreams. Inside the pavilion, the light revealed its source, a simple brass lamp, casting a steady glow that defied the desolation surrounding it. Illuminated by its warmth, a tableau of enigmatic objects lay before me. A pristine ticket book, a conductor's hat untouched by time, and a captivating brass key that gleamed in the light. Rather than feeling out of place, these artifacts seemed to belong, waiting patiently to be discovered. In that cocoon of light, a profound realization dawned upon me. Places like this amusement park never truly perish. They merely transform, existing in a liminal space between memory and existence. The ticket book chronicled decades of history, blending past, present, and future in a mesmerizing dance of time. The conductor's hat exuded a lingering warmth, while a mysterious photograph hinted at a reality beyond perception, where the past and present intertwined seamlessly. As the night deepened, the park revealed its dual nature, suspended between abandonment and vitality, emptiness and fullness. Like a spectral carnival, it existed in multiple dimensions simultaneously, challenging the limits of my understanding. I lingered until the first blush of dawn painted the sky, knowing instinctively that the brass key on the table was not yet mine to claim. It waited, patient and enigmatic, much like the beacon that had guided me on this surreal journey. Retracing my steps through the awakening park, I observed the light in the pavilion wane not with distance, but with the rising sun, as if retreating into a dormant slumber. Since that fateful night, I have kept vigil over the park, seeking glimpses of the beckoning light on evenings when the world feels ethereal and thin. The mystery of that encounter lingers not as a source of fear, but as a gentle reminder that reality is layered with hidden truths, awaiting those brave enough to follow an unexplained light into the unknown. Story 35. The day had stretched on, filled with the weight of time and the burden of worries that lingered like shadows. In the quiet of the house, the hum of the refrigerator in the kitchen was a soothing background melody. I eased myself into the soft embrace of the couch, my fingers absent-mindedly tracing patterns on the fabric as I reached for my phone. Just as I settled in, it stirred to life with a gentle vibration, breaking the stillness. The caller ID displayed my own name, a curious twist in the familiar routine of the evening. Peering at the screen, a sense of intrigue washed over me, akin to discovering a hidden doorway in a room I thought I knew well. The soft amber light of dusk filtered through the curtains, casting ethereal patterns on the wooden floor, adding to the mystique of the moment. The phone continued its silent dance, vibrating against the coffee table, creating a delicate rhythm against the polished surface. The air around me seemed to thicken, each breath carrying a weight of anticipation. Above, the ceiling fan spun lazily, its soft whir blending with the calming rhythm of my own heartbeat, lulling me into a gentle trance. As I hesitated before answering, the room enveloped me in a cocoon of tranquility, a sanctuary from the chaos of the outside world. When I finally brought the phone to my ear, a hushed static greeted me, reminiscent of waves caressing a shore under the cloak of night. The silence held a richness, a tapestry of subtle nuances that whispered of hidden depths. With a soft greeting, I ventured into the conversation, my voice a mere whisper in the vast expanse of the room. The response that followed was like an echo from a distant realm, a reflection of my own voice dancing on the edge of reality. Though the words were muffled, the cadence carried a familiarity that tugged at the edges of memory. Lost in the moment, I sank deeper into the cushions, my gaze drifting to the warm glow of the lamp in the corner, its pulsating light a gentle companion to the night's symphony. Outside, the moon played hide and seek with passing clouds, casting ever-shifting shadows that painted the walls in a dance of light and dark. The voice on the line grew clearer, yet still veiled in a dreamlike haze, like eavesdropping on a conversation from another realm. Fragments of the dialogue resonated with echoes of past decisions, twisted into alternate timelines that blurred the boundaries of reality. Time itself seemed to warp, each second stretching into infinity as the voice narrated tales of diverging paths and untaken choices. I found myself nodding along, swept up in the ebb and flow of the narrative, a silent witness to the tapestry of my own existence unfurling before me. A subtle shift in the room's temperature caught my attention, a gentle reminder of the fluidity of the present moment. The phone's cool touch against my skin sent a shiver down my spine, a tangible anchor in the sea of uncertainty. As the conversation meandered through realms of possibility, I noticed subtle alterations in my surroundings, familiar yet askew, like a dream slipping through the cracks of reality. The voice whispered of tomorrow, weaving a tale of morning's secrets with a delicate touch that felt both ancient and new. Mesmerized, I leaned in, drawn into the enigmatic prophecy of my own voice, a melody of whispers in the night. Outside, the wind stirred, its soft sigh harmonizing with the rustle of branches against the window, a natural chorus to the surreal symphony unfolding within. As the conversation ebbed like a river finding its course, a final revelation hung in the air, a memory from childhood unearthed in the depths of time. The recollection blossomed in my mind, vivid and alive, a forgotten treasure unearthed from the recesses of memory. And with a soft click, the call ended, leaving me in the embrace of darkness, cradling the weight of the phone in my hand. The room enveloped me in silence, broken only by the steady hum of the refrigerator and the distant chime of midnight. The phone lay dormant on the table, a silent sentinel of secrets whispered and mysteries unveiled. With each passing moment, the night deepened outside my window, casting shadows that danced in rhythm with the beating of my heart. I caught glimpses of my reflection in the window, a mirage that seemed to linger a heartbeat behind, a trick of the mind in the stillness of the night. And though the phone remained silent, a beacon of my own name and face, I could sense its silent call, a whisper in the dark, beckoning me to unravel the mysteries that lay hidden within. Story 36. The soft crackle of the vintage radio filled the hush of my silent apartment. It had sat untouched for years, a relic of memories past, yet now it murmured softly in the dimness. Just as my hand reached to silence it, a voice slipped through the static, a whisper so familiar, so intimate. It uttered words known only to me. The radio perched on my grandmother's cherished side table, its polished wood reflecting the warm halo of my reading light. Until that moment, the evening had unfolded in tranquil peace, the only accompaniment the gentle rhythm of raindrops on my window, a lulling backdrop to my solitude. I had been nestled with a book, cocooned in the snug embrace of my beloved blanket, when the first hint of static disturbed the quiet. Initially, I thought I had accidentally nudged the table, triggering the ancient device. But rationality whispered that impossibility. The radio had ceased to function when my grandmother bid farewell 5 years prior. It remained solely for sentimental reasons, a token of countless evenings spent in childhood listening to melodies while she knitted in her cherished chair. The voice gradually sharpened, emerging from the crackling haze like a shadow through mist. "I remember the butterfly," it murmured, so faint I nearly missed it. My breath hitched in my throat. The butterfly, a secret shared solely with my grandmother. A delicate blue morpho that alighted on my hand during her farewell ceremony. I had confided in no one how it lingered, motionless, until the final prayer was uttered. The rain persisted in its gentle serenade against the panes as I sat immobile, fearful that any motion might shatter the peculiar enchantment that had descended upon my dwelling. The voice persisted, meandering through patches of static. "You still safeguard the origami birds in the shoebox beneath your bed." Another clandestine detail: the paper cranes my grandmother had taught me to craft, each one harboring a minuscule wish inscribed in pencil. I had kept them hidden from all eyes. The soft radiance of my lamp seemed to pulsate in harmony with the static, casting dancing shadows across the radio's wooden facade. A fragrance akin to dried lavender and aged books wafted through the atmosphere. My grandmother's signature scent. The room's temperature shifted, a pleasant coolness enveloping me, reminiscent of the morning air in her garden where we once lingered. The voice divulged more memories: the concealed key beneath the loose brick in her garden wall, the covert formula for her blackberry tea encrypted in her journal, her hushed rendition of Moon River when she believed herself unheard. Each revelation washed over me like a gentle tide, unearthing memories I had tucked away in the recesses of my mind. I found myself sinking deeper into the chair, initial trepidation yielding to a profound tranquility. The intervals of static between words transformed into a soothing hum, akin to ocean waves or wind through trees. My grandmother's voice, for I had come to acknowledge it as hers, continued its tender soliloquy, each syllable laden with shared recollections. Time seemed to ebb and flow differently as I listened. The rain outside evolved into a distant melody, harmonizing with the radio's voice. My eyelids grew heavy, yet I resisted slumber, fearful of missing a single utterance. The voice recounted summer afternoons in her garden, hidden trails through the woods behind her home, tales left unfinished. As night deepened, the voice waned, blending once more with the crackle of static. I yearned to reach out, to pose the queries left unspoken, but an unseen force restrained me. Perhaps certain enigmas are destined to remain as such, mysteries. The final words pierced through the fading static like moonlight through clouds. The most cherished secrets are those that remind us of our perpetual companionship. Then the static dissolved into silence, leaving only the pitter-patter of rain and my tranquil breathing. I never reactivated the radio after that night. Yet on occasions when the rain cascades just so, and the evening light caresses the wood grain of its cabinet, I swear I detect the faintest echo of static. In those fleeting moments, I recall that some secrets are meant to be safeguarded, while others find their way to be heard. Story 37. In the hushed embrace of my childhood home, a symphony of memories awaited as I ventured into the depths of time. The air was heavy with the scent of antiquity, a fragrant tapestry woven from aged wood and forgotten whispers. Shadows danced gracefully along the walls, painted by the soft afternoon light that filtered through the dusty window panes. As I meandered through the dim parlor, adorned with portraits of generations past, a figure cloaked in the garb of yesteryears materialized before me. His eyes, twin reflections of my own, held a gaze that spoke of shared secrets and intertwined destinies. With a calm demeanor that belied his eerie familiarity, he introduced himself as my other self, a specter from a bygone era. Each step I took reverberated through the house, stirring slumbering memories that floated like golden motes in the sunlit air. The wooden stairs groaned beneath my weight, a melody of nostalgia that resonated in the marrow of my bones. The parlor beckoned, a sanctuary where echoes of past gatherings lingered like whispers in the aged tapestries. Fingers tracing the intricate carvings of the furniture, I felt a warmth seep through the wood, a silent testament to the enduring legacy of my kin. The portraits on the walls observed me with gentle curiosity, their visages softened by time, yet bearing the timeless features of our bloodline. The apparition, draped in antiquated finery, exuded a sense of belonging that transcended time. His presence, as natural as the shifting light that framed him, held me transfixed. In his gaze I glimpsed not just my reflection, but a deeper essence, a mirror to a past self I had yet to meet. "I've been waiting," His voice, a whisper from the annals of history, resonated in the stillness. In a way, I've always been here. The room pulsed with a silent energy, dust motes suspended like celestial bodies in a private cosmos. His movements mirrored my own, a dance of familiarity that bridged the gap between our worlds. Seated in wingback chairs as twilight descended, our words wove a tapestry of shared memories, blending past and present in a seamless embrace. The room seemed to transcend time, portraits shifting with each glance to reveal facets of our intertwined existence. "We are all connected here," he murmured, gesturing to the room that bore witness to our shared history. Past and present intertwined, memory and moment converging in a timeless dance. As night draped its velvet cloak over the room, the stranger's form blurred into the shadows, his voice a soft echo reverberating through the walls. "Remember," his words lingered in the darkness, a whispered reminder of our eternal connection to this place of memories. And as I departed the parlor, the portraits gazed upon me with newfound understanding, their eyes reflecting not just my lineage, but the myriad selves that coexisted within me. Though our encounter faded into the mists of time, the essence of my other self lingered in the quiet whispers of the house. In the settling sounds and creaking boards, I sensed his presence, a spectral echo of our shared existence. And in those moments, I knew that our stories were eternally intertwined, woven into the very fabric of this timeless sanctuary. Story 38. The soft glow of the television screen enveloped the dimly lit room in a gentle radiance. I had drifted off to sleep while watching a classic film, only to awaken to a blank screen, or so I thought. Suddenly, the screen flickered to life, the image grainy and distorted. It displayed a live feed of a bedroom, my bedroom, and there, at the foot of my bed, stood a mysterious figure. Frozen in place on the couch, I held my breath, captivated by the motionless silhouette against the moonlit backdrop. The quality of the image resembled vintage security footage, with a faint greenish tint that lent an otherworldly air to the scene. Raindrops tapping against the window pane filled the room with a soothing white noise, heightening the surreal atmosphere. The house creaked softly, the wind whispered through the cracks, and my heartbeat provided a steady rhythm to the unfolding mystery. What unsettled me most wasn't just the figure's presence, but the impossible angle of the footage. It seemed to emanate from inside my closed bedroom, a perspective I couldn't comprehend. I had dozed off with the TV remote in hand, and as I pressed the power button in a futile attempt to reset the screen, the image remained fixed, unwavering. The figure in my room shifted slightly, its movements fluid and mesmerizing. As the rain outside intensified, blending with the scent of petrichor wafting in, I found myself drawn deeper into the enigmatic scene. The figure, with an unearthly grace, turned towards my dresser where my grandmother's music box rested. With deliberate movements, they wound the mechanism, and the haunting melody filled the room, a lullaby from my childhood. The music, mingling with the rain, created an oddly tranquil ambiance amidst the peculiar events. Entranced, I watched as the figure swayed to the melody, their motions hypnotic and strangely familiar. Details in the room began to shift, books rearranged, the rocking chair moved without a breeze, shadows danced unnaturally in the moonlight. Slowly, the figure turned towards the TV, towards me, shrouded in shadow, yet evoking a sense of recognition rather than fear. The familiarity in their stance, the subtle movements, resonated deep within me like a forgotten memory resurfacing. Drifting towards slumber, the lullaby and rain lulled me into a dreamlike state, blurring the boundaries between reality and the ethereal scene on the screen. When I awoke, sunlight flooded the room, and the TV screen was once again blank. Climbing the stairs to my bedroom, the lullaby lingered in my mind. Everything appeared as it should, except for the music box left open, its melody lingering in the air. On restless nights, I returned to the TV, drawn by an unseen force. The rain falls, and amidst the static, a familiar figure dances to the elusive melody, a guardian of memories that refuse to fade. I no longer switch off the TV, uncertain if I even could. And deep down, I find solace in the knowledge that a part of me continues to dance to that cherished lullaby, bridging the realms of memory and dream. Story 39. The hotel's sign shimmered softly, casting an ethereal glow in the misty night. The doorman greeted me with a subtle smile, and the fragrance of aged wood and wax enveloped me as I traversed the lobby. My room, though modest, cradled me in comfort, lulling me into a deep slumber, weary from my travels. Upon awakening the next morning, I descended to reception, only to find an empty expanse where the hotel once stood. I stood there, my travel bag hanging limply, gazing at the unkempt grass swaying in the gentle morning breeze. The cool air bore the scent of dew and wildflowers, a stark contrast to the refined atmosphere of the polished wood and leather I had encountered mere hours ago. My mind grappled with the stark disparity between what my eyes beheld and the vivid memories etched in my mind. Each detail of the previous night remained vivid within me. The antique brass key, weighty and cold in my hand, the deep burgundy carpet muffling my steps as I approached room 247. The hallway adorned with wallpaper featuring intricate golden leaves that seemed to dance in the warm light. I traced the spot on my wrist where it had rested on the mahogany desk while signing the register. The leather-bound book exuded substance, its cream-colored pages awaiting my signature penned with elegant curves. The doorman's pale fingers, the approving nod at my name inscribed in the book, all etched in my memory. The room exuded understated luxury, with heavy velvet curtains framing windows overlooking a courtyard garden. Lavender-scented bed linens, a single rose in a crystal vase on the bedside table. The soft click of the vintage radiator, the gentle ticking of an old clock, all weaving a tapestry of comfort. The haunting strains of a piano melody had serenaded my dreams, a tune both unfamiliar yet achingly nostalgic. A lullaby from a distant past, lingering in my mind, elusive yet ever-present. Questions plagued my sanity as I retraced my steps. The ordinary taxi driver, the familiar yet altered street in the morning light. The brass key, a tangible reminder of the night's reality, with the number 247 engraved, its edges worn with age. Local inquiries yielded no trace of the hotel's existence, as if it were a figment of my imagination. But each night, as I drift between wakefulness and sleep, the scent of wood polish and leather permeates my senses, the distant piano notes whispering a message just beyond comprehension. The brass key rests on my bedside table, shimmering faintly in the night, a silent sentinel of a fleeting reality. The temptation to discard it tugs at me, yet an unseen force stays my hand. Perhaps, on a mist-laden night, the hotel's sign will beckon once more, the doorman's smile awaiting my return. Until that enigmatic reunion, I ponder the hotel that existed for a solitary night, the phantom music that dances in my mind, and the enigmatic guests who may have traversed its halls with their own brass keys to rooms lost to time. Story 40. As I sifted through the forgotten treasures of the attic, my fingers brushed against a small keyring adorned with a collection of ancient keys, each one a masterpiece of intricate design. The metal gleamed softly in the dim light, emanating a quiet, magnetic energy that seemed to beckon me closer. Without labels or clear purpose, the keys whispered of untold stories and hidden realms waiting to be unveiled. The attic itself held its breath, a hushed tension lingering in the air, as if the keys were sentinels of a long-buried secret. Bathed in the gentle afternoon light filtering through the dusty window, I sat on the creaking floorboards, captivated by the key's individual charm. One key bore delicate floral vines, another intricate geometric shapes reminiscent of celestial maps. A smaller key, adorned with tiny musical notes, seemed to hum a silent melody under my touch. Examining them closely, I noticed a peculiar quality in the metal. Despite their age, The keys gleamed with a warm golden hue, pulsing faintly in the shadows. That evening, I brought the keys to my study, placing them beside a steaming cup of chamomile tea. The fragrant vapor curled lazily, carrying hints of honey and herbs through the room. Beyond the window, rain began its gentle descent, a soothing rhythm against the glass. While sketching each key meticulously, I became aware of subtle shifts in the room's ambience. The soft glow of the desk lamp played tricks with the keys, casting them in a different light with each glance. Sometimes, a distant melody, like a music box echoing from afar, teased my ears whenever I touched the musical key, vanishing before I could grasp it. In the following days, I delved deeper into the mystery of the keys, immersing myself in the lore of antique locks and key craftsmanship. Yet, it was the dreams that wove an enchanting web around me each night. I wandered through endless corridors, doors whispering secrets that eluded even the keys in my possession. Then, one twilight-drenched evening, a revelation unfolded before me. Arranging the 7 keys in a specific pattern, they formed a celestial constellation, familiar yet elusive, stirring a sense of recognition deep within. Staring at the celestial alignment, the air in my study thickened with anticipation. Distant wind chimes sang a ghostly melody, mingling with the rustle of papers as if in response to the key's presence. Shadows danced on my desk, their forms defying logic, resembling ancient scripts or forgotten tongues. Tracing the elusive patterns with my fingertips, they shifted, evading complete understanding, as if guarding a secret too precious to reveal. Weeks slipped by in a haze of curiosity and wonder, each evening spent in the company of the keys unveiling new enigmas. The key with celestial motifs warmed under the full moon's gaze, while the vine-adorned key seemed to bloom and twist in the rain's embrace, their subtle transformations leaving me questioning reality. Yet, the most profound effect was the key's manipulation of time itself, moments stretched into eternity, or hours condensed into fleeting instants, the boundary between reality and reverie blurred. The purpose of these keys remained elusive, their origins shrouded in mystery. Perhaps they were not meant to unlock physical doors, but rather to open gateways of the mind, passages to realms of imagination and wonder that straddle the line between knowledge and dreams. Nestled in their velvet sanctuary on my desk, the keys shimmered like moonlit water, a silent allure beckoning exploration and contemplation. In the tranquil hours between twilight and slumber, I find solace in the enigmatic presence of the keys, their secrets held close yet offering a tantalizing glimpse of the unknown. They stand as guardians of mysteries unsolved, companions in the quiet of the night, reminding me that some questions are more precious unanswered, some doors more enticing unopened. And in the soft embrace of dusk, I am grateful for their enigmatic companionship, these silent keepers of truths untold. Story 41. The hush of the night was broken solely by the rhythmic clatter of the train wheels rolling on the tracks. I found myself in the final carriage, enveloped in a soft, dim glow, seeping from the gentle fixtures dangling above. The air held a pleasant warmth, and the steady movement of the train induced an almost hypnotic trance. Peering through the window, I watched as the mist lazily pirouetted in the darkness, shaping fleeting figures that melded into the night. It seemed I was the lone traveler in that carriage, or so I believed. My reflection in the window glass melded with the outside obscurity, conjuring the illusion of an indistinct presence observing me from the other side. The hum of the rails held a soothing quality, akin to a mechanical lullaby coaxing me towards slumber. It was then that I discerned something peculiar in my reflection on the glass. A shadow loomed behind me, a silhouette perched a few rows back. I couldn't recall anyone boarding, yet there they sat now, distinctly present. The train pressed on through the night, and the perpetual hum of the wheels seemed to murmur ancient, forgotten tales. I pivoted slowly, aiming not to draw notice. The carriage was bathed in an amber light, casting elongated shadows over the unoccupied seats. The figure I glimpsed in the reflection remained motionless, cloaked in what appeared to be a dark garment, their countenance obscured beneath the shadow of a broad-brimmed hat. Time appeared to linger as I gazed at that silent specter. The atmosphere within the carriage thickened, laden with memories foreign to me. The passenger remained still, wordless, as if seamlessly integrated with the train itself. Electing to rise, feigning a trip to the rear lavatory, I inched closer to the enigmatic figure. Their coat seemed to be fashioned from a material that absorbed light rather than reflecting it, exuding an aura of chill. A faint hint of lavender and aged books wafted in the air around them. Passing by the seat occupied by the mysterious passenger, I felt as though time had momentarily halted. The sound of the rails faded into the distance, as if originating from another realm. It was then I noticed a disquieting detail. Beneath the dark cloak, there was no discernible movement, no visible trace of breath. Reaching the end of the carriage, I hesitated, uncertain whether to proceed to the adjoining carriage or retreat to my seat. The corridor stretched endlessly, the dim lights casting mesmerizing patterns on the floor. Upon glancing back, the seat where the mysterious figure sat was vacant. In its place lay an ancient train ticket, aged to a yellowed hue. Trembling, I retrieved it. The date imprinted on it dated back 50 years, precisely to that very day. The ticket exuded warmth, as though it had been clasped just moments ago. Returning to my seat, clutching the ticket between my fingers, the train continued its nocturnal voyage, the wheel's cadence once more comforting. The mist beyond the window appeared denser now, and amidst it, faint figures seemed to walk alongside the train, as if accompanying its nightly journey. As weariness crept over me, I pondered how many others had crossed paths with that mysterious passenger aboard the final train of the night. The ticket I held stood as the sole tangible proof of that surreal encounter, yet even it began to fade like a dissipating dream upon awakening. The train forged ahead through the night, carrying within it its enigmas and passengers, both seen and unseen. Drifting into slumber, a delicate scent of lavender lingered in the air, accompanied by the faint echo of footsteps receding down the carriage's corridor. Story 42. The attic exuded the scent of aged wood and dust as I delved into boxes brimming with forgotten treasures. Amidst the assortment of relics, I stumbled upon it, my grandmother's antique music box. Its wooden exterior had weathered with time, yet the intricate carvings remained pristine. It had been neglected, untouched by my hands for years. That fateful night, at the stroke of 3 a.m., the ethereal chimes of its haunting melody reverberated through my room. I can recall the moment vividly, for I was wide awake, perched in my reading nook by the window, observing raindrops tracing their path down the glass pane. The soft patter of raindrops had been my sole companion during yet another restless night. Initially, the music was so faint that I questioned my senses. Was it a trick of my drowsy mind, teetering between consciousness and slumber? The tune was familiar, yet subtly altered from my recollection. It seemed slower, more deliberate, each note lingering in the air like honey dripping languidly from a spoon. The melody carried a weight of bygone years, of memories, just out of reach. Earlier that day, I had placed the music box on my dresser beside an aged photograph of my grandmother. In the dim glow cast by my reading lamp, the box's shadow danced across the wall, swaying gently with the flicker of the flame. I was certain the brass key had not been turned. Earlier attempts had proven futile as the key proved too stubborn to wind. Rising from my chair, I felt the plush carpet beneath my bare feet, each step towards the dresser deliberate, unhurried. The floorboards beneath the carpet whispered with age as I advanced. The music persisted with its soothing melody, a lullaby reminiscent of my grandmother's tunes while she baked on lazy Sunday afternoons. Drawing closer, I noticed a peculiar phenomenon in the box's reflection on the dresser mirror. The carved roses on the lid appeared to shift and unfurl in impossible patterns within the glass, yet remained motionless when gazed upon directly. A subtle chill enveloped the air surrounding the music box, akin to the coolness emanating from an old cupboard. A tingling sensation coursed through my fingers as they reached towards the lid. The melody seemed to soften, almost hesitating, as if acknowledging my presence. Upon touching the box, the wood emitted a warmth that defied the surrounding coolness. Inside, the mechanical workings turned steadily, despite the dormant brass key. The miniature dancer, long broken off, was absent, yet in the mirror's reflection, elusive movements hinted at a shadowy figure twirling to the gentle tune. The scents of cinnamon and vanilla, reminiscent of my grandmother's kitchen, wafted through the room, intermingling with the earthy petrichor seeping in from the slightly ajar window. An inexplicable convergence of fragrances that stirred emotions, bringing tears to my eyes. I stood transfixed, witnessing the music box weave its enchanting melody, memories weighing heavy on my heart. Beneath the haunting tune, my grandmother's voice seemed to whisper, a comfort that transcended words. Outside, the rain cascaded in harmony with the music, as though nature itself had synchronized with the mystical serenade. Time ebbed peculiarly as I stood there, the clock frozen at 3 a.m., its hands barely inching forward. The music persisted, stretching its melodic threads like silk through the silent night. I found myself swaying gently, reminiscing about bygone days in my grandmother's kitchen, where she would dance while waiting for her bread to rise. As the melody gradually decelerated, it did not wind down conventionally like a usual music box. Instead, each note dissipated into the air, akin to sugar melting in warm tea. The final note lingered, fading imperceptibly, leaving me unable to pinpoint its cessation. The scents of cinnamon and vanilla gradually dissipated, replaced by the pristine fragrance of rain. The music box now sat in silence, unchanged from its initial retrieval from the attic. The brass key remained untouched, its weathered surface catching the soft lamplight. Since that enigmatic night, I refrained from attempting to wind the music box again. On rainy evenings, when sleep eluded me, I would ensconce myself in the reading chair, gazing at the motionless roses and the dormant brass key. Yet, in the mirror's reflection, at the periphery of my vision, I occasionally caught glimpses of the roses unfurling their wooden petals, accompanied by a familiar warmth that enveloped the room. I've come to understand that some mysteries are not meant to be unraveled but experienced, akin to the pregnant pause between musical notes or heartbeats. My grandmother's music box guards its enigmas, and I remain vigilant, anticipating those rare instances when the boundary between memory and reality thins enough for a lullaby to traverse through. Story 43. In the quiet depths of my slumber, a peculiar dream began its subtle dance. A mysterious figure, always lurking in the shadows, observing me with silent intent. Each night, he drew nearer, his presence growing more palpable with every visitation. Then, on a fateful day, as I strolled homeward under the fading light, there he stood. Across the cobblestone street, a smile gracing his enigmatic features. The initial dream unfolded with crystal clarity. The air bore the essence of autumn leaves and morning dew, a gentle zephyr whispering through skeletal branches above. In that liminal realm between wakefulness and sleep, he materialized. A tall silhouette clad in a vintage dark coat, his countenance veiled by the cloak of dusk. Immovable beneath a flickering street lamp, its radiance bending around him in a spectral embrace. Each subsequent night, the dream morphed, shifting like ripples on a tranquil pond. The breeze would carry the scent of rain or the fragrant allure of night-blooming jasmine. The backdrop altered, a serene park, a desolate train platform, a mist-laden garden path, yet he remained steadfast, a sentinel in the shadows, observing, waiting. Gradually I discerned subtle nuances about him, the way his coat swayed without wind, the disjointed dance of his shadow. the peculiar inclination of his head as he gazed upon me. His presence bore no menace, rather a sense of eerie familiarity, akin to a half-remembered childhood lullaby. The dreams intensified, each night more vivid than the last. The soft crunch of leaves beneath his phantom steps resonated in my ears, though he remained motionless. An ethereal quality enveloped him, as if the very air shimmered with an otherworldly essence, akin to heat waves rippling on sultry asphalt. At times, elusive figures flitted in the shadows behind him, silhouettes vanishing when my focus dared to linger. What unsettled me most was the creeping notion that these were not mere dreams, but glimpses into a hidden reality beneath our own. The boundary between sleep and wakefulness blurred, casting doubt even in the harsh light of day. And then the scents arrived. Fragments of that familiar autumn perfume seeped into my waking hours, manifesting inexplicably in my sealed abode. At work, the sweet jasmine aroma wafted through sterile corridors, eliciting a shiver down my spine, a sensation of being observed. Soon came the sounds, the rustle of fabric, phantom footsteps on non-existent foliage. Fleeting moments, leaving me to question their authenticity, though deep down I knew their truth. Yesterday changed everything. Homeward bound in the twilight's embrace, mundane thoughts swirling in my mind, I caught that telltale fragrance of autumn leaves. Heart racing, I lifted my gaze to behold him across the street, mirroring his dream self. The dark coat, the enigmatic shadows, unchanged. But this time, a revelation dawned. His face, adorned with a gentle smile, not of malevolence, but of ancient wisdom and cryptic knowledge. His eyes, vast pools of infinity, reflecting untold tales and memories beyond my ken. Transfixed, the world hushed around us, the evening light warping and shifting in ethereal dance. Through a fleeting veil, realms intertwined, and I grasped his eternal vigil, awaiting my realization. A subtle gesture, a silent salutation, and a profound sense of belonging enveloped me, dispelling fear in favor of an inexplicable homecoming. Blinking, he vanished, leaving behind the lingering perfume of autumn and jasmine. Now, as I prepare for slumber, I no longer dread the dream's return. Anticipation and tranquility intertwine as I embrace the enigma. Some mysteries are not to be unraveled, but experienced, cherished. The lines between dream and reality, between mundane and extraordinary, blur more than we fathom. If we but listen, if we but wait, the universe divulges its secrets in whispers and knowing gazes. Tonight, as I drift into the realm of dreams, I ponder the layers of reality he may unveil. In that nebulous space between waking and slumber, I sense his presence, watchful, waiting, smiling.